YouTube VOD as well. No, you, teehee. He called me awesome, guys. That's what he meant. Where are my new emotes? Son of a bitch. I have to close chat, reopen chat, and then the emotes will show up. Ah! Don't talk. I was like, silence me! Which makes me realize, fuck, I didn't change my audio. Okay, source, headphones, boom, we're good.
All right. Hi, everyone. Don't worry, we're just setting up a little couple of things, but hi, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good Saturday night out there in the beautiful land of the US of A, and to all my foreign friends, too, because I have a few foreigners that like to watch me.
What do you mean you got foreigner friends?
I do. Some of my most loyal people that show up are not United States citizens.
One of my coolest view bros is Kanakastani. Lynx Bro is his name.
That's a fun name.
Yeah, Lynx Bro is great.
Yes, so I think everything should be good, so I'll just start the regular spiel of auto-processed and bullshit. Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of the RNG Podcast. I am, of course, that faggot Carl. Sorry, I just already messed up. And joining me tonight is my friend, Nicholas Starling, a up-and-coming VTuber.
Don't call me that. VTubers are gay. Fuck VTubers. I'm not actually joking. Fuck VTubers. No, I'm a V-binger. All right. I'm cool.
I didn't know what you would like me to call you. I just
fucking I hate fucking VTubers, man.
I would say
we can talk about that in a little bit, but you know it's cool.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
It's an interesting topic.
But one of my friends met from the good old Rumble days, from watching him play fun retro games instead of all the boring Fortnites and Call of Duties that just litter the landscape of every type of streaming site. And a man who's very very into fun emulation technologies and all sorts of rambunctious fun collecting of retro games as well. Not so much as buying them physically, but emulation and everything else too.
I also buy them physically.
Yeah.
Big time collector of at least newer stuff that hasn't gone ridiculously up in value. I don't have a big collection of like Super Nintendo games or PS1 games, but my PS3, 360, the relatively newer libraries, I've got a shitload of games. I've probably got over 1,000 physical games or something crazy,
Oh, very nice, very nice. So I guess we should start with saying, Mr. Nick, how did you get into gaming? What's your first video game? Could you enlighten the folks about it?
Yeah, I've actually talked about that on my channel a bit. It's one that I'm currently streaming, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. That's my very first video game ever. I was a toddler when Dad brought a Super Nintendo home, hooked it up to the TV. I was really impressed by how he plugged a thing into the TV and it made video. And then he handed me the controller, and my life changed. It's kind of just been video games ever since then. I'm very much into video games. Yeah, it was the Super Nintendo for me first, then PS1. I'm a big handheld guy. PC gaming is more my thing this past, 15 years probably, but I love everything. All video games, mainly.
Yes, and the reason why I named this YouTube video and everything else Birds of a Feather is because we have kind of similar interests when it comes to that. We like everything, we collect things, and we kind of just like the idea of the technology that is video games as well, with the consoles, the handhelds, even the retro stuff like Analog Pockets and all that stuff.
I like the typos in your video thing. Nick is lowercase. You say Nick Sterling. I'm not Jewish. Why you say Nick Sterling in your description, sir?
Did I say that?
Yeah, I said Sterling. I'm not offended by anything. I'm just fucking with you. It's cool.
Wait, Starling. On my YouTube one it says Starling. What?
It's if you click on the about video or whatever, the show more Sterling. You also typoed Styx Hexenhammer earlier. I'm like, no, you typed it wrong. Sick. It's still typoed. It says Sytx, SYTX. The eclectic man know as Sytx. I can't do that. SYTX. You know what I mean.
Oh man, now I gotta go change that real quick.
I would have told you earlier, but I think it's endearing, honestly. I wanted to mention it in the stream, publicly shame you.
Oh, you did a good job doing that, that's for sure.
Let me, okay, so Follow RNG here, broskies. I'll also post your Twitch link too, because you did follow me on Twitch, and it looks like you actually game on your Twitch channel. Do you ever do any gaming on the YouTube or just on the? Oh, you're multi-streaming. I see. So I'll
multi-stream?
post both of those.
Yeah, every time I definitely yeah, I'm just seeing I gotta edit this stuff. Yeah, every time I stream, I do it on everything. In fact, next week I'm going to start moving game streams just to pure Sundays because I can't do them anymore on Fridays. I'm just so tired after work, and I don't have the energy.
Boomer. Oh, speaking of boomer, aren't I older than you?
No, I think I'm 33. I thought you were younger.
I am a year younger. Okay, it's cool.
Well, we're the same age
Close
right now.
enough.
I turned 33 in a couple weeks.
Ah, so for a couple of weeks, we're on each other's level. I see.
Yes, exactly. Just for a couple weeks, but not that much longer. I'm getting old, and I feel every bit older than 33. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you. Like I've had the same job for nearly 8 years. I cannot fucking believe how much time has passed. It feels more like it's been, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or something. Time just flies though. The older you get, the faster. So it's like a neuroplasticity thing, I think. The older you get, the faster your perception of time is. So it's like a constant compounding thing. Like if Dracula were real and he really lived hundreds of years, he would just be like a vegetable, you know?
Probably. You never
Yeah.
know, right?
I think about that kind of stuff a lot because I'm fucking autistic or whatever. You know. Let's see. Oh, I answered your question. What was your first video game? Do you remember?
My first video game, I think I said this before on Twitter, but like the first video game I can remember playing in my house was my brother's 20 years older than me. I've said this plenty of times, so he had he had an NES console.
Mm-hmm.
So the first game I can remember playing was Duck Hunt.
Hmm.
Yeah, which is very funny because that was also the first game that Styx can remember playing as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't get to watch
was
that
funny.
video earlier. I was like, oh god, he's fucking interviewing Styx. Oh my god. I mentioned this before the stream. I've watched probably over 1,000 Styx streams, and it's got to be at least like 10,000 of his videos. I was, for years and years there, was like everything he posted, I would just kind of watch. I'm not like an obsessive fan or whatever, but he has really, really, really good information. Like fuck phone news, MSNPC, CCCPNN, or is it CCPNN? Yeah, CCPNN. Fuck all those big tech. I said big tech. You know what I mean. The fucking big news networks can suck me. Just go to people like Styx Hexenhammer, you know?
Yeah. Oh, hello, JT over there in the Twitch chat. Hello. Don't forget.
Let me pop out your
Nick
chat too. I didn't even think about that. Okay, so JT is over on your chat.
Yeah, JT, hell of a guy, salt of the earth, man.
Mute this site.
Truly, truly a fun guy. Yeah, no, I don't want to make this whole thing about. Yeah, no, I am very grateful for him to taking time out of his day to come over and say hi. And 45 minutes is still a lot of time for a lot of people, and it wasn't any like special process or anything. All I did was say. I gave him a super chat and I said, "Would you like to be interviewed?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure. Just DM me." So that's really all it was.
Bro, he's such a fucking cool guy, dude. He's just so cool, you know. And he isn't like a pussy or anything. Like he'll actually have a little bite to him sometimes. He's just, bro.
Very, very gentleman. Like I was nervous as hell, but he really did make me feel like just comfortable just talking to him with the ease, and I do appreciate that. It's always nice when you have people on that can just make you feel like you're one of them, like a friend of theirs, even if you don't really know them. Like just like right now, like you're ripping on my terrible spelling, which is nothing new. That's pretty on brand. And now you made me self-conscious about everything.
Don't be self-conscious, bro. Anytime I fuck with you, just consider that like an invitation to fuck with me back or something. I don't know.
No, it's okay. Autocorrect really gets the best of me, and my biggest weakness that I should work on is proofreading. But Twitter has kind of ruined that mentality with me because it's like, fuck it, it's Twitter. I don't really give a shit. But I should give a shit when it's my own channel. That's the only problem.
Twitter fucking sucks, dude, so much. Oh my god, I've gotten banned from them multiple times. Personal account and channel account both got banned.
That
Trannies, you know,
sucks.
it's trannies. It's always fucking trannies, dude. God damn it.
Yeah, I had a lot of people recently try to get brigade me recently on Twitter when I guess just out of respect since you to say it, but like the R slur they call it, you know?
Well, like retard, rape? What are we
Yeah,
talking? Oh, you can say
retard.
retard. And that's fucking retarded people say that's a slur. Retards are retards. It's cool. It's whatever.
I know. It's just
I get the pass, all right. I can pretend to be a really good retard or whatever. Bite my ear, you know.
well, Mr. Cage is watching. He's actually special needs. He says I got the pass, so there you go.
Yeah, it's cool. See, no, that's the thing. Like being offended on behalf of other people is super gay. I hate when people are like that. Like you never catch me being like, oh, that's offensive to that demographic. Fuck that. Just fucking take a joke. You know, it's fine to joke. It's fine to be a little edgy. Like you only get one life. Be a little bold. You know.
As I always say to people all the time, I do believe in just being able to say what you want. It's
Yep.
okay if we disagree. It's okay if you don't like what a person's saying. But it's also don't worry about like what other people do and say all the time. Like this whole thing that's been going on with like guilt by association or oh you can't say this because I'm offended on behalf of someone else. It's like I don't really care, you know. And another thing too is like these people who get offended by jokes and they're like, oh well, I didn't like that joke. And to be honest with you, this is kind of where I grew up. It's like it's supposed. I thought this was like a liberal mentality. Where it's like if you don't like it, change the channel. That's
My
what I was
thinking
always told.
is, oh, you've offended me. That's great. Good job. You did it. That's awesome. Cool. Like, why would I give a fuck? Like, why would I try to censor? I hate that shit. I call it neo-puritanism. Like, it's kind of puritanical. Like, they're saying, like, oh, you got to cover up those anime titties. You can't fucking have, cute girls in your media. You could have, like, men who look like super twinks, or you could have, like, uh, fucking bear sex or whatever. But you can't have like traditionally attractive women. They have to look like off-brand men, basically. Like that's a good example of what neo-puritanism I talk about. Like, why the hell are we suddenly being weird about like female attractiveness or whatever? And like offensive jokes, like that shit's fine on TV or whatever, but it's not fine in video games. Like, when's the last time you played a game that was actually really goddamn funny?
Oh, last time I played a video game that was really funny.
Yeah, like something that was just like laugh out loud, like holy shit, that was hilarious, like that kind of thing. Like it just doesn't happen too often. Like comedic games, like I know I've played a few, even just like this year. I played Deep Fear, that was unintentionally hilarious, but fuck.
I feel like sometimes that it's just hard to be writing in general. So I feel like a lot of video games that I've played recently just have had bad writing in general.
You talking
That's
like
like my
millennial
opinion.
writing?
Oh, I fucking hate millennial
Shredded
writing.
Nerd
God of
did a
War,
really good video on that, man. He kind of
God of War,
he coined the term, you know.
yeah, God of War Ragnarok is a perfect case in
Oh,
example of
dude, Cuck
millennial
of
writing.
War can fuck off. I hate the new games so much. The old games were great. They were hyper masculine, brutal, fucking bouncy tits all over the place. It was great. Like that was testosterone manifested into a video game. That was what the old games were. Now it's all like, oh, I regret being a toxic male. We need to not have anger problems. I have grown as a man. No, fuck, that's not Kratos, goddammit. Boy, boy, boy. Shut the fuck up. You're not Kratos. I hate the reboot, dude. I know, like, everyone loves it. Ooh, I love the walking simulator shit. I fucking hate the fucking reboot, man. The old games were so great, dude. So
I
great.
like
Like, what happened to the
that
sex
too.
scenes? Do they have sex scenes and nice tits in the new ones? I don't think they do. I'm pretty sure they don't.
Actually did enjoy 2018 a lot. I thought it was just a okay, progression of the storyline.
Bastardization.
I wouldn't say bastardization.
I
I just feel like
would.
I know you would. That's fine. We could disagree on that one. It's just it felt like actually like it made a little sense to me because it's a guy who's killed everything, destroyed everything. It's
Yeah.
just like
It
what
does
does he
seem
have
like a
left?
natural progression. It really does. Like on paper, I thought it was going to be fine. I thought it was going to be great. But then they keep like they had like the race swapped character. I don't care enough to know the character's name. I just wrote it all off. They had like all these girl powery kind of moments I saw in some clips. They had that long like canoe scene where they're like boating and
No,
oh
no.
god.
Ragnarok was way worse like that.
Yeah, miss me with that shit.
Yeah, 2018 did not have any of these like real big issues in my mind for a lot of this stuff. It was very straightforward. It made a lot of sense. Like the characters' motivations and writing made sense, but also on the same time, the team that made it also made Lost Planet 3, and they just recycled the story from Lost Planet 3
You're
and put it in God of
kidding.
War. I'm not kidding at
Did
all.
they
You can look it up.
really? No
Yeah,
way. I gotta
yeah,
Google that. That's crazy. I don't
yeah.
not believe you. I just think that's incredible. Okay. Lost Planet 3 developers.
Yes, a
Okay,
lot of those
Spark
people,
Unlimited, they moved on to the
Sony
new.
Santa Monica.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. A lot of the people that worked on that game moved to Sony Santa Monica, and a lot of story beats and themes from Lost Planet 3 you can see emulated in God of War 2018.
Yeah, I'm so not surprised, man.
Yeah, so like there's I could see it. I like I said, I enjoyed it because I'm like it feels like a natural progression of the hero that's kind of like beaten down after he's like already won, and then he got to build himself back up. And then in Ragnarok, it seems like I got into so many fights with people. They're like, "Well, this is the same writing staff." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because this doesn't feel like the same writing staff, and it suffered from a lot of. This is what I call it the Sonyfication process,
Yeah.
where it's long,
Rip
dragged
Japan
out
Studio.
talking. Oh yes,
Their
oh, we could
best
talk
fucking
about that.
studio as far as I'm concerned. Rip.
Yes. Speaking of that, I guess we could transition over into what have you been playing recently? Because I actually have been playing a Japan Studio game.
See, you know when you ask a non-gamer who's pretending to be a gamer, like, oh, list like 5 game franchise. They'll be like Mario, Zelda, Tetris, and then they'll think about it, and eventually they'll get 2 more. In my case, oh my god, so fucking many. Like, let's start with like platform by platform. I'm simultaneously juggling probably a good 300 games right now. That's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
If we just go by Sega Saturn games, I just got into the Sega Saturn. By the way, I'd like to say thank you, RNG Gaming Podcast, JT, and Nothingness for the follows. That 100 followers thing actually makes a lot. I just had 100 followers, by the way.
Oh yeah,
But
that's good to hear.
okay, so I just started Sega Saturn Gaming, and there's this 8BitDo M30 controller that's like it's a 6-button controller with a really nice Saturn style D-pad and that Saturn form factor. I was never into the Saturn. I'm basically new to it. I really like it. I've
Same.
really been missing out, I feel like. And I've been playing some Sega Saturn games. So recently, Deep Fear, that's one I played yesterday. I've been
Oh
doing
yes.
sorry, I don't want to talk over you. Go on.
I was gonna say Deep Fear, the Japanese, the Sega Resident Evil clone that came out for the Saturn that we never got over here, believe it or not.
We got it in Europe, I think. That's the one I've been playing, I'm pretty sure. Just okay,
Yeah.
listen, everyone in chat, pirate that shit off of Vim's lair. Pirate that shit. Pirate everything. Yeah, Vis, my phone's dead. Hi, Vis. Sorry, I have this impulse. I'm so used to streaming alone. As soon as someone says something in chat, I just immediately like respond. It's
No, I
it's
do
it's
that
an
too. It's
impulse and
fine.
collabs too. But yeah, go for it. Do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. Anyway, so Panzer Dragoon, that's another one I've been juggling. I started a playthrough of Grandia, the Sega Saturn English translated, like fan translated version.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
we go over to like PS1. I've been playing a little bit of Ridge Racer 4. I'd like to
Solid.
get more into like Kingsfield. That's one I'd really like to do soon. First, second, and third. They got a really good English translation of the first game. Too, which was a launch title for the PS1, if I remember correctly, in Japan, 1994. From Software was there at the very beginning of PlayStation, back when it was
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, so those are the main PlayStation games I guess I've been playing lately. Just tons of PC shit. I just got Helldivers 2 because the Sony fans, sorry, the PC gamers beat Sony, but then they're talking about possibly turning around and fucking the gamers again. I don't know. It's fucking up
They already
and down.
have. They've already removed it from
Fuck
sale in other
Sony,
countries.
man. Oh, I hate Sony so much. I used to be a big Sony fan, man. And not like fanboy. I would never like unthinkingly be a fan of a brand, but I really loved what Sony stood for and did for the longest time, you know? I love PS1, PS2, PS3, PSP, Vita. I love those systems so much. I got a 4 at launch, and I kept saying, oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great one of these days. One of these days it'll be great. It just kind of never really got good. It's fine, but it's whatever, you know?
I think the best thing about the PS4 was it helped me discover Uncharted because I had a PS3, but I had the yellow light of death like 3 times.
Yeah.
So I just stuck with the 360 because I got lucky and only had the red ring once, but it was my fault because I
That's
left it in.
crazy luck, dude. I have 2 PS3s, and I've never had any issues with either whatsoever. Not a single issue hardware wise. And then the PS3, the 360 was such a gigantic like Red Ring of Death monstrosity, and you know, like you would touch the system and it would like cause that deep cut in a circle around the disc.
Hmm.
Holy shit, that was so devastating. Like seeing all my friends with their game libraries being destroyed because they have a little, like a little vibration in their room, and that would cause the disc to like tilt a little in the 360 and cause like a deep gash throughout that would just completely ruin the disc. That's horrific. That's nightmarish. I would be so devastated if that happened to my shit, you know?
Yeah, I got lucky. I never had that issue, and on top of that too, I don't have iPod Shuffles Xbox 360s.
Hmm.
I got the nice Slim Collector's Edition ones too, so that's also why I'm it's easier for me to game on them now too.
Yeah, that's I only really used the super slim PS3 extensively. I never got one until like 2011, I think, when I got my first job.
Yeah.
Um, Good stuff. I like the super slim. Super slim's pretty good.
I
Yeah.
I got two Japanese PS3s because the one thing I like about Sony more than Nintendo is that all their consoles after the PS2 were region free.
Cool.
So like I have a Yakuza Fat PS3 that Fernando needs to fix one day, hopefully, because we just got to get a special converter for it because it doesn't it's not compatible with American electricity. So when you plug it in, it
Oh
ramps up too
yeah.
much. But the other limited edition PS3 I got was actually a one piece PS3, a nice bit. Not that it was the second model, so it's the slimmer model. But sadly, no backwards compatibility. That's the only issue I have with it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I never really cared too much about back compat because for the longest time I would just do like emulators and shit. And, like I would do PSP for my PS1 games, Vita PS1 games as well, and then PS2 I would mostly just play on an actual PS2 or on an emulator on PC. But nowadays I know the glory of games being rendered natively, like on native hardware and not being emulated. Is that a good little transition to the new thing that's blowing my fucking mind lately?
Yeah, sure.
So you're not much of a hardware guy, right? I'm super, very much a hardware guy. I'm super big into hardware. I can tell you all the different like GPUs, CPUs, amounts of RAM, RAM speeds, RAM timings, like CAS latency. Which kind of hard drives I use, blah blah blah, all that shit. For all of my systems, uh, my PCs since like 2006. Like I can give you like these breakdowns of all the different parts in them. I can give you like really good descriptions of all these different consoles, like what kind of CPUs and shit they have. Generally, I can remember like how much RAM all the systems had, what has unified RAM, what has like separate system versus video RAM. Autism. Anyways, there's this new thing though. Field Programmable Gate Array, FPGA. So this shit is fucking incredible. So I had a recent stream where I was playing Donkey Kong Country on a Super Nintendo Classic through my capture card, and I kept sucking ass at it. And I was like, I know I'm better at this game. Like, why do I spent like 3 hours getting through, I think, like half of the game when I should have basically knocked it all out in one go. I spent almost an entire hour on the minecart level, that infamous level that filters a lot of people. And I thought, there's no fucking way it's this hard. There's no way it's like Battletoads hard. So I kind of did like an analysis. I'm like, okay, clearly there's like a third of a second to half a second of latency. That's like a good goddamn 30 frames or whatever, you know?
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so I would have to press the button before the enemies came on screen, like predictively, to be able to jump over them. Helix, bro. And yeah, I looked into it. And I thought, I've heard about this FPGA stuff where it's running the code natively. It's not so FPGA means Field Programmable Gate Array, and it's not emulating games. It's emulating the hardware that the games would run on. So on paper, these things sound kind of weak. Like mine has 256 megabytes of RAM, and it costs me nearly $600. I kind of overpaid. And like that sounds like garbage in 2024, but it's not a PC. It's essentially all consoles from like the dawn of gaming up to PS1 and Saturn. And it runs these games natively with like perfect precision, like just amazing accuracy if the core's good. And a lot of the cores are basically perfect. They've been working on this shit for like 8 years now. Since 2016, that's when it all started, the Mister project. And it isn't just running these games really accurately, it's running these games with the same latency or better than original hardware. So, you're not losing like, 10 frames because the emulator is causing all this input delay or whatever. It's just perfect. It's perfection. Like it's like 2 to 3 milliseconds a lot of the time, and that's better than a lot of original hardware. That's fucking crazy. That's like unheard of in emulation.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's
yeah.
this is kind of isn't this like the same kind of
Analog
process
Pocket.
that yeah, I was about to
Yeah.
say that when you were
So the
talking.
Analog Pocket is, it's from the Analog Company, of course, and it's, if you guys don't know, it's a handheld system. It's like 230 bucks, something like that. And it can play, Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, GBA, Game Gear, Atari Lynx, like a lot of these older systems. And there's this project
Yes.
called Open FPGA where you can run like a lot of systems up to around Super Nintendo or like GBA levels of performance on the Analog Pocket. And you could just pop an SD card in your system and load it up with like 1,000 games or whatever, and you're good to go. Like just update the cores occasionally for better accuracy, and yeah, boom. Or you could get a Mister system, which they're going to be in a few months here. They're releasing a clone board with the same Cyclone CPU or FPGA chip in it. So it's going to be significantly cheaper to get into FPGA soon. If you're into retro gaming, this is like golden era. Like this is prime fucking glorious. It's so good. I can't stress enough just how great the fucking Mister system is. It's so nice. I can fit this thing almost like in a pocket. And it plays all my retro games as well as old hardware, except you can also output it through HDMI. You could put it on like an analog TV. It's so great. Like you could simultaneously put these games onto a CRT TV and like a big 4K 100-inch TV or whatever.
Uh,
Yay!
you cut out there for a little bit.
Oh shit,
Just
really?
like I just give you a heads up. You kind of went silent for like a few seconds, but
Whee!
I think we got everything that you were basically saying there about all this technology that
It's
was
so.
coming out.
I hope I wasn't quiet for too long. That's
No,
embarrassing.
it was like maybe 2 3 seconds at most.
That's cool. It was probably over the part where I mentioned you could output to a CRT and an HDMI TV simultaneously.
Just a little bit before that, but
Oh shit, okay. Basically though, it's good. You guys should totally check out FPGA. If you're into retro gaming, it is the future. It is so fucking great, dude.
yes, I will say this too. I have an analog pocket, and I just basically use it as my Game Boy device now.
Yep.
Because I mostly just I don't do the emulation too much because I have the cartridges. The one thing that I do like about it though, because some of my games have dead batteries, so the saves don't work. I love
Aw.
the save states.
I have a
That's where
Dragon Warrior 3 cartridge. That was Dragon Quest 3 back before they could get the rights to call themselves that in the West. I have a
yeah.
Dragon Warrior 3 cartridge. I've got probably a good like 40 hours in or something, and I've been working through that game for like um, half my life or more now. I think I was like a teenager, like a young teen when I started that game. I might never beat it, but the battery's still good, thank Christ.
Game Boy collection is just Pokemon right now because I super love Pokemon, and I just need to sit down and replace the batteries. But besides that, it's running everything else great. I got the good old F-Zero games for the Game Boy Advance that have been great. I just love it, and especially I love how it smooths out the rough edges and makes the games look a lot better too. That's like my big joy in life is
Yeah, dude, the screen of the Analog Pocket. So the original Game Boy and Game Boy Color screen is 160 by 144 resolution. It's
yeah.
1600 by 1440 resolution on the Analog Pocket. It's 10 times on each axis, so it's 100 times the resolution of these old systems. So they're able to use that crazy boost in resolution on a 3.5-inch screen to add like these filters and stuff that just look amazing. Litervis.
Yeah.
It's so cool, dude. That shit looks so great. And like the audio is great. It's got a backlight. It's got a rechargeable battery that's got like hours and hours of battery life. You put that thing to sleep. He could wake it up in 3 months and be like, oh shit, it's still got battery life. Okay, cool. Like it loses like no charge. It's amazing.
Compact Patriot, thank you for showing up tonight too, man. Thank you for saying like congratulate me on getting Styx on that. It's great, but this isn't about Styx right now. It's
Compa's a
about
bro.
Nick. So
No, Comp is like one of my biggest homies. It's cool.
yeah, like I said, it's still nice though. It's just like
We can make
I
it
got
about Sticks. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
no, but yeah, thank you for that too. But like I said, I don't want this to be
I'm
about like
no,
streaming.
I'm just fucking with you. It's cool, you know. One of
No, no,
these days, I'll have him on my stream regularly or some shit if I make it, you know.
no, it's not that. Like I appreciate it and everything else like that too. I just want to say like it. I focus on the here and now too. I want to say thank you again, Compa. I'm not trying to discourage you. It's also it's just like Nick's here, so I don't want to just take away from Nick too by
No,
saying
it's cool. Nothing's been taken away. I'm really open and relaxed. By the way, so it took a long time for us to finally like do that because you know shit's happening in the background. I totally understand. If you ever do have anyone like cancel on you or anything, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm basically available like almost every day of the week, so you know it's cool. At
like the
some
biggest
point,
problem.
huh?
The problem is that sorry, I'm interrupting you like
You
at
good,
the
bro?
no, the hardest part is like I always feel like I'm bothering everyone. You know, it's like, hey, you want to come
Yeah, I
on the
can't push
show?
through that. It's so tough, dude. Like I don't like self-promoting and I don't like bugging people for things like, oh, do you want to collab? You want to collab? Like what I should do is I should become more of like an obnoxious hype beast to try to get people to like come fucking do collabs, damn it. You're like hurting your channel by like doing everything completely solo, but I send people a message. They're like, yeah, sure, let's do it eventually. Oh, maybe not today though. And then I'm just like, okay, and I just kind of go off and do my thing, you know? Like, man,
I feel,
how are we gonna build up a community and like take down all these big assholes who are all rich and famous and shit if we're not gonna come together a little bit, you know?
I feel like my biggest problem is trying to like
Community
have a guest
build.
on and try to make a conversation that I want to have with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I want to have a nice topic with them. I like to interview them. Like everything about being on here too is also to like get to know people, have them tell their stories. Like I do mean this a lot when I say this. It's like I am a boring ass person. I do not think I'm interesting at all. But everyone I bring on, I like when they talk about the things. Like to some people, where they grew up and where they lived life and everything else like that was boring to them. You know, it's like this is just their life. They don't think it's interesting. But sometimes you don't know that you have like you never know what you did in life is like might be interesting to someone else. It might bring curiosity to something. It might make somebody go like, I never thought about it like this way or that way. You know?
Yeah, I kind of see things like everyone's upbringing is interesting because you know like you could call it like main character syndrome or whatever, but everyone is their own main character. Imagine if you were like born in like street shitter land or something. Like you were an Indian man, that's your upbringing. Those are the cards you're dealt with for the rest of your life. You were in India, you got to like go do your thing, try to succeed. Go teach people on YouTube, make your millions or whatever the hell. But like that's interesting. It's also interesting if you're born in China under the fucking CCP. You know, Mao. No, I guess it's not Mao Zedong. It's Winnie the Pooh now. That's his name. It's always something. Like everyone has like imagine you're born, you got like an IQ of 80. You know how fucking crazy that is? Born with like a natural 1 out of 10 intellect stat, you know? That's interesting. I think everyone's interesting. You just gotta you know, you gotta explain it properly. Like, why is this person interesting? Well, go over the details, you know? Just talk about things.
Too, since we were talking about what we were playing, and I've actually been just kind of keeping it more retro recently, kind of more dabbling in
Same.
games here and there. But I've been trying to also. I got a couple of retro shows coming up, so I've been playing a lot of retro games.
Oh, dude, which ones you
Recently,
playing lately?
uh, I've been playing my GameCube recently, so I've been playing Pokemon Coliseum on my GameCube because I have the HDMI converter that is by Eon.
Oh,
Do you
wow.
know the company?
Not really, but I know what you mean, you know?
Yeah, I absolutely love that because I was testing it. I just have like a regular HDMI converter, and I had it on one of my GameCubes, and the game looked like ass. And on here, it looks pretty good. It looks like a 360 kind of game. That's how because it smooths out the edges and all that stuff.
Yup. Dude, the GameCube has some of the cleanest picture quality I've ever seen on like any of the main consoles. It's just so crisp. Which system was it? PS3 versus 360. Okay, so the 360 on paper is a lot weaker in a lot of ways. It's like it's easier to develop for though. And what one of the coolest things about it is it gives like basically free anti-aliasing that costs like effectively no performance hits. So a lot of 360 games would look less jagged than PS3 games. And the GameCube was kind of similar in that, Jim, where games just looked really clean, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't know exactly
I
what it was they did to pull that off, but like I was a PS2 guy and I'd look over at GameCube and Xbox games and be like, "Fuck, man, GameCube games look really clean and Xbox games are like higher settings, you know?"
Yeah. No, I enjoy that generation the most, the Xbox,
Dude, that was
PS2 and
such a
GameCube
good
gen.
gen. Everyone's always
It was
talking
amazing.
8-bit, 8-bit. Like, shut the fuck up, man. What about my PS2 shit, man? Dude, PS2,
Like
GameCube, Xbox were so great. All three of them. All three of them.
e- each console had their own strengths and their own weaknesses. Obviously, the PlayStation 2 had like the biggest library because
Best fucking library of like any console except maybe the Switch now, and that's only if you count all the old games on the Switch. It's
yeah,
crazy, dude. PS2's library. I'm not like a big PS2 fanboy. Like if I'm gonna fanboy about something, it's gonna be some like underdog like the Saturn or like the Vita or something. But the
yeah.
PS2's library, you just analyze like each genre. If you're just into horror, PS2's got the best. You're into light gun games, PS2's got the best. Our JRPGs, PS2's got the best. It's
The
fucking
PS2
crazy.
had them all basically. That was the
Yeah.
problem.
I looked up that Eon HD adapter, $160. You paid that about that much for yours?
I got it on sale from Best Buy sale, not Best Buy, GameStop sale actually,
Okay.
and it was actually worth the money. I think I paid $90 for it at
That's
the
not too
time from
bad.
the
I mean,
sale.
if you like playing on your actual GameCube, there's something special about having this piece of hardware and it's running your game and it's like it's not running through any weird emulation layers or whatever. That's one of the
Yeah.
things I love so much about the Mister. Like I think I might actually get thousands of hours out of this thing eventually. It's so fucking cool. When I bought it, I was like, this is really expensive. I don't know, man. And I thought and I thought and I thought and I was like, okay, it's the perfect NES system, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Master System, SG-1000, the older Sega system. Like
Hmm.
everything. It's good for everything up until like PS1 and Saturn. That's about it. It's crazy. Wait until
Yeah.
they do the cheaper boards. Compa in chat says he's convinced on it. Might get one as well. Wait a little bit. Wait like 2 or 3 months. They're gonna have those much cheaper boards. I should have waited honestly, but soon they're gonna be way cheaper. I spent nearly $600 on mine. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that, but soon it's gonna be like right in half. Price cut in half, and that's for a pre-build. You could build one yourself right now for like under 300 probably. Um, Soon they're going to be a lot cheaper. So yeah, no, the Mister is going to be huge soon. Like I think for gamers like us, getting a Mister is going to be a no-brainer.
Yeah, I feel like for me, gaming for me still is like sitting on the couch, sitting back and relaxing,
Yeah,
and
I
do
like PC
just
gaming, but I work at a computer desk. I don't want to sit at a computer desk and game. I want to sit on the fucking couch. I want to lay down, recline, look at a TV with a controller in my head, you know?
no,
Like,
no. That's
yeah.
exactly my feeling too. I work at a computer not all day. Most of my job is mostly standing, on a lift and driving around, but I have to go to a computer all
Are
day
you
at work and
forklift
do that.
certified?
No, actually, I'm not. I should be.
Ah, betrayal. I thought I was with a cool person here.
No, I don't
I'm
drive a
kidding.
forklift. I actually don't drive a forklift. It's one of those like weird lifts where it's like an L lift. So like
Mhm.
it's got a couple slats and you pick them up and you go up and down. Like I'm like the best way to describe my job is I'm a glorified vending machine. People place orders and then I get on this like machine and I go in between racks and go up and down and grab boxes all day.
Yeah, is it like a warehouse job?
Yeah, it's definitely a
Yeah,
warehouse
my
job.
best bud works in a warehouse. He makes more than me, and I'm an office manager for a medical office. You know, so yeah, I replaced 2.5 women. Get fucked, ladies. No joke.
No,
At my job, I was hired on, and they had two full time chicks and one like part time chick. And within a few years, it was just me and the boss. So like 3 people were replaced by this one person, and productivity's up, boss's workload's down. Everything's just running a lot better, just because one autist who what do they call it? In the workers field, they call it the Pareto principle, where like 20% of the workers do like 80% of the work or something. I'm basically that, but like, you know, as a person, like I'm the Pareto principle in action. And yeah, no, that's my job right there. And I still make less than a lot of warehouse workers. Fuck. Like no insurance, no nothing. I just fucking bust my ass, turning my brain to mush, doing paperwork and talking to people and stuff.
Well, that sucks. You don't have insurance and you work in like a medical field
Yeah,
too, right?
right. At
That's called what's
least I
that?
get my eyes taken care of, you know?
Oh, thank God, it's just your eyes, right?
Yeah. Actually, I just today found out I've got Salzman's nodular degeneration, an eye disease thing, kind of super, super, super rare, dude. It's crazy. So with Salzman's, it's so rare they don't know if it's they didn't know if it was hereditary or not. My dad had it. They were like, there's a stromal haze on your left eye. We're starting to wonder about that. And then today the boss is like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Salzman's manifesting. I'm like, God damn it. Basically, what happens is there are going to be tiny little bumps on my cornea, and it's not going to be like perceptible to the human eye, but it's going to affect my vision a little bit, like just a little bit of warping and stuff. And they have to like numb my eye while I'm still awake, just numbing drops, and they're going to use these little scrapers to scrape the fucking bumps off of my eyeballs. That's what Dad's
Oh,
had to do
fun.
twice. Like they do it, you wait a bunch of years, they got to do it again because they come back up. I got that. It's fucked up, apparently.
That does suck.
Learned that today. I was like, we were like on the edge. We're like not really sure. And now we're like, oh yeah, I've got Salzman's. Fuck. Okay. Damn
Yeah,
it.
all you have to worry about when you get older, right? Is always these hereditary illnesses that could pop up.
Yeah. I'm lucky
Yeah.
I didn't get some of this stuff. Like, basically, all of my siblings are some variety of crazy, except for my younger sister, who was a little hellion when we were growing up, and now she's awesome now that she's had kids. Like,
Mm.
having kids just turned her into like a cool, responsible adult. I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. You were never cool when we were kids. Now you're awesome. And my other siblings are kind of dog shit now, and they were kind of cooler when they were younger. So a lot of mental stuff going on. I'm just a spurg. That's about it for me,
Mm-mm-mm.
like it's the spurg thing and Salzman's now. That's all I got. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Lucky me. No diabetes, no my like the hairlines of all the men in my family are spectacular, so I'm not gonna have to worry about that anytime soon. If I ever start getting AVGN hairline, I'm just gonna go bald, by the way.
I don't have a receding hairline, but my hairline's definitely gotten went back a little bit. I'm not balding by any
Oh
means, but
man, yeah, that sucks. I have a lot of empathy for guys with bad hairlines and shorter guys. Like that's not something they asked for, and society's gonna dunk on them pretty hard for that shit. Oh, you're 5'11", you fucking midget. I'm 6'1". I used to be 6'2", but my spine kind of compressed from sitting or whatever. But like I never asked for this. Like I feel so bad for shorter guys. Uh
yeah.
so
But
fucked up.
yeah. But going on to, I actually played one more game. This is a Vita game that I've been kind of singing the praises of a little bit more. Uh, that I've been playing it more. I don't know if you've ever played it.
Well, Vita's my favorite system, so hit me.
So you might have played it. It was I believe it was a launch title, Studio Japan with in collaboration with Marvelous
Oguro?
Entertainment.
No, okay, not marvelous. What were we talking about here?
It's called Soul Sacrifice.
Oh yeah, of course I know about fucking Soul Sacrifice, dude. Holy shit! I never got Soul Sacrifice Delta, but I played a good bit of the first Soul Sacrifice. Are the servers still up for that, or did they kill the servers? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure
I
the
think they
servers are
killed the
down.
servers.
I actually I got Delta because it's only like $17 on
Yeah,
the
I
PC
really
store.
should just go ahead and buy it, but they're working on a PlayStation Vita emulator, and it's progressing gradually but surely.
And all, I have 3 Vitas.
I got 2
Actually,
Vitas. I bought one from Japan as a backup. I adore the
oh
Vita.
yeah.
I fucking love the Vita, man. I've only got 2 systems I bought twice just as for a backup. The PS3, which is kind of redundant now that emulation is so good for the PS3. Like it's just I would just play PS3 games emulated these days. And the Vita, which doesn't have a great emulator, but we're gonna get there eventually. I can't freaking wait for that, dude. Imagine like playing on like a Steam Deck and just playing Vita games on it. Oh god, I love that. I love the Vita. I really love the Vita, guys. Vita means life in Latin. And that thing is pocketable. It's got a 5-inch, 544p resolution OLED screen. Battery life is perfectly fine. The audio is great. You can play like music in the background in most games. Like I remember some of my best experiences in gaming. I would listen to like some Metallica or Megadeth or something like that, Tool, whatever. A lot of bands that Razor Fist hates and I love. That like I'd have that shit going in the background while I'm just playing whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. Just turn off your brain, have fun. It's pure fun. It's so great. I love that. I love the Vita. I love it so much, bro.
Was looking into it because I actually have the Soul Sacrifice Vita I got because I ordered it from Japan
Ooh,
as well.
nice.
Yeah, it's a nice red one with a nice black
I remember how it looked.
source
They
on the
look pretty
back.
good, dude. It's cool you got one, man. That's almost like a collector thing, I feel like now.
I That's the one thing about collecting these consoles is I like to go out and buy like collector consoles because
Yeah.
these are these add a little bit more like nostalgia and value I think to my collection. But like I just think they look cool because when I'm done with them, they're art pieces. I can display them. Like I got
Uh-huh.
the Gale of Darkness GameCube recently, so I got like the nice little Lugia emblem on top of
I
it
think
as
that
well.
game's worth like 100 or something, right? More than 100 bucks.
Gale of Darkness.
Yeah, I remember those were pretty expensive last time I checked.
They're like they're roughly over $200 now.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I'm not surprised at all to hear that. Those are, Links Bro, one of my main like biggest bros from day one. Totally cool. Like one of my viewers basically. He's mentioned before that the first Pokemon game for the GameCube, the XD or whatever, they had a
Coliseum.
duo, two of them. Which one?
Yeah. It was Coliseum, and the Coliseum one
Yeah.
got expensive because there's three different versions of that one. There's just the basic version, then there's the other version that came with a pre-ordered disc that was separate from it, and then there was another version, I believe it was only at Toys R Us, where the cover had like a sticker on it, and the sticker basically said both discs were included with the game, and that version is worth more just because of a stupid sticker, and the discs are both together.
Makes me think of this. It was some like Ferrari. I'm not a big fan of the Ferrari brand, just the way that they treat their consumers and stuff. And I'm really recently into cars. Like it never clicked for me until I played some good racing games. Anyways,
Yeah.
there's like this Ferrari model that there's like a hard top and there's a convertible, and the convertible is what everyone chose, and the hard top, um, it it's worth a lot more money now, even though that was a cheaper option, because it's so much more rare. Like no one bought it. So
Mhm.
sometimes, like sometimes those things just spike up in value. I wonder if JT's talking about me when he says, "I wonder if he likes the Vita." I wonder if that was sarcastic because I just
Yeah,
spurred
it's
God over how much
sarcasm.
I love it.
He's just he's taking the piss, as the Brits
The
would say.
Vita. Now, speaking of, so we talked about FPGA. Do you have any handheld gaming PCs?
I have the Steam Deck, as you know.
I love the Steam Deck, but dude, that shit is so like the future of gaming in my book. Like, oh, so you like the Vita's form factor, right?
Hmm.
There's a handheld system called the GPD Win 4 that looks basically like a new PSP, except it's got like a Ryzen 7840U and like a 1080p, I think 120 hertz screen in it. Or wait, no, 6 inch. It was 1080p 60 hertz. But anyways, it looks basically like a PSP. It's very, very well built, and then it's got like a slide out keyboard. Let me send you a link to that thing over in Discord. I'm gonna say GPD Win 4. This thing is fucking incredible. Um, it's not actually worth like 1,300 like they're showing. In fact, that picture sucks. Scroll down to like the second picture. It looks amazing, dude. This is the future of gaming right there. You like the Vita, its form factor, the screen, all that shit. GPD Win 4 is like it's like the new that.
It looks like a BlackBerry.
It's so cool, dude. But look at like go down to the second picture. You see that shit? That's what a PSP3 would look like essentially.
Yeah, I never had a PSP3. I've had the earlier models because both of my
Oh no, I meant like a third PSP after the Vita.
oh, sorry,
PSP,
sorry.
Vita, GPD Win 4 essentially. We got
I thought you were
the
talking about the
mhm.
last PSP model, the like really tiny one.
Yeah, I've got the PSP 2000, I think. That's the model I've got. But going to the so handheld gaming PC. So the Steam Deck, I sorry, the Switch. The Switch like just took over console gaming. It's by far the most popular one right now. PS5, they're missing like sales targets. Xbox is a dumpster fire, even though I really like the Series X for the back compat and stuff. And then you go over to the Switch, and it's just smooth sailing, really, really good sales. Fucking games being sold out the wazoo. The attach rate is crazy. It's the most profitable Nintendo era by a fucking mile. It's amazing. And I think a lot of that goes down to the portability factor. And these gaming PCs are now like as pocketable as a Switch, which is to say, well, they're more pocketable than the Switch. They don't quite fit, just like the Switch doesn't, but we're getting there. And my handheld gaming PC is probably more powerful than the Super Switch or whatever they're going to call it. It's got 16 gigs of RAM versus the Super Switch. You hear about the leaks on the Super Switch's hardware, by the way?
Yeah, it was interesting, I would say.
12 gigs of RAM, 7,500 mega transfers per second. Pretty speedy. I think the target's going to be 720p 60 upscaled in handheld mode. I think 1080p upscaled to 4K is probably going to be the norm on docked gameplay. It should be able to
I'll
play
take more.
everything, though.
I just want 60 FPS. Just give me 60 FPS
I
on
think that's
everything.
going to be the norm, dude. It's going to be crazy.
That's
I
all I'm
really think that's
asking.
going to be the norm. Like upscaling is going to be their big thing. If they have trouble reaching 60 FPS, they just lower the internal resolution and upscale that shit. I'm not a
Yes,
big
and
fan of DLSS, but it's going to be a DLSS console, you know.
I'm a fan of more so the different art styles. I don't really like the hyper realistic art styles much. I prefer the more fucked up Tim Burton kind of looking art
Yeah.
styles of say like a Psychonauts or the cell shade styles
Dude, I love
of other.
Psychonauts 1.
Yeah, Psychonauts one is great,
I was so
except for that
pumped for
ending.
2, man. I started playing 2. I got maybe like 6, 7 hours in, and then they got to like the gay marriage scene, and they had like the non-binary disabled kid, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This is just propaganda bullshit, man. Like you're able to look past a lot of the weird woke bullshit and just enjoy something. I just can't. I can't fucking tolerate that. I see that shit and I'm like, they're trying to propagandize me. Fuck this shit. I just turn it off, you know? Go play something else.
That's
So
a
I'll
lot of
never
it.
finish Psychonauts 2 probably. Sorry, go on.
I'm sorry. It just has to not be a lecture to me. Like Spider-Man 2, that was just too much.
Oh,
I
fucking
couldn't I
hate
couldn't
that.
take Spider-Man 2 as much. I was like, this is just really bad writing. And I'm one of those people who I said this before. It's like, listen, you know, The Last of Us 2, I wouldn't call a woke game. I just call that incredibly bad written. Like it like I always tell people all the time, like if this game was just a movie, Red Letter Media would take it apart and just call it like they would put it on the best of the worst, and they would just point out all the flaws to it. Because I remember one of the movies they were like watching, it was like one of those weird vanity projects where it's like a guy who thinks he's a kung fu expert, and he's like building a team of kung fu people. So he like every scene in the movie was like, dude goes there, they beat up some guys, they shake hands, and they leave, and it's like that's basically what The Last of Us 2 is. Like thing
Oh
happens,
god, the
beat up
ending.
some guys, and then they leave. I never finished the game. I got
I've never touched it and I never will. I just watched people like cover the story in like shock and horror. I was like, it's this bad? They basically took that dog shit Left Behind expansion thing from the first game. It was awful and it felt kind of pedo. Like I'm pretty sure the fucking director guy is a pedo weirdo. And they basically just stretched that out to a big game. Like, oh my god. Like
they
the
really
little
do that
girls
though.
kissing thing. I'm like, oh, okay, what the fuck am I playing? What is this? What the hell? Like, is this the future of PlayStation? I hope it's not. And then it was. It was the future of PlayStation.
This 2 isn't like they didn't even just expand on that. What they basically did was they uh try to have like a deep meaning story, and it was like written by a guy who's like as deep as a fucking puddle.
That
Like
dude's
guy
a
has
fucking
no depth.
moron, dude. Do you see that clip of him going on to the red carpet thing and just getting like ignored? No pictures of him. He's over there posing and not a single person gives a shit about taking a picture of him.
Yeah, I did, and I just frankly didn't care.
I like dunking on and bullying people like that. Fuck that guy.
I
Bully the weak. The weak should fear the strong.
I think my biggest problem with The Last of Us 2 is just it's just badly written. The gameplay is very solid. It's very great from a tech standpoint and a gameplay standpoint. Like it was fun. There's a lot of great moments in that game in terms of just the actual combat. It's just ruined by writers who can't write a competent story, and a lot of normies like it. That's the problem. Is that
The
a lot of
golf
normies like it.
thing. The sex scene. Did you hear about Nick Rekieta, the lawyer, and how he showed the sex scene from The Last of Us 2 on channel and he kind of got away with it? Do you hear the story behind that?
No, and I
So he
I've
showed the
seen it
sex
sent so
scene with
far.
Abby getting fucked in the ass or whatever, and there were tits in the scene. And what he showed it, and the video got like age restricted or is like struck or whatever for like it got a content restriction or whatever. And he appealed it by saying, "No, no, Abby's a man, bro. Abby's totally a man. It's not. Those aren't tits. Those are man boobs or whatever." And they reversed it. They were like, "Oh yeah, Abby's a man."
Yeah.
YouTube's official stance is that Abby's a fucking man.
No, that's pretty funny, but I've already been memed to death with that thing. I just stopped caring about it.
Yeah, we're years past me giving a shit about that. It's just, hey, you brought the topic up, bro.
No, I'm not saying anything like you can't have an opinion on it and stuff. It's just
Last of
the
Us
whole
is
thing.
dead franchise.
It's just like I said so many things about The Last of Us at this point. It's kind of like just beating a dead horse at this point.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, it I wasn't a huge Last of Us fan in general,
yeah, I
so it's
thought it
like,
was mid. It was all right. First game was okay. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's the best game ever."
yeah, I'm in the
Honestly,
same camp.
you liked Uncharted a lot. I thought, oh, that was pleasant. I kind of liked
One
that.
and two were great.
I
That's
like
about it.
three, dude. I liked Uncharted 3.
I hated three. I
I
thought
think
three was
everyone's like
fucking
hate for
terrible.
that. I'm like, huh? Why? Only
It
thing I
was
hated
bad.
about 4 was the girl power black lady. She was fucking obnoxious. If I were a black woman, I'd be like, dude, write us better, you motherfucker. You make us look like shit. Like, cause she was terrible. Neil
Yeah,
Cuckman is a terrible writer. Oh god.
and they gave her own game too.
Yep, and that was where I was like, okay, dead franchise. About halfway through Uncharted 4 is where the franchise died for me, basically. What'd you hate about 3?
I hated the storyline. It just felt very confusing, and the ending was stupid.
Oh, I just thought it was like basic bitch Uncharted, like all the other ones. I just turn off my brain and shoot shit in those games, basically.
I thought the only thing about Uncharted 3 that was good was the gunplay was much improved from 1 and 2.
For
It's
the
just
era, graphics were really
yeah.
good, dude. I like the visuals.
Yeah, I thought Uncharted 2 was also really good looking. Like 2 and 3
Yeah.
to me, they both look really good, but I also played them on the PS4.
Oh yeah, no, if you
So,
played them on the PS3 and you played like a lot of games on the PS3 in that era, those games were really, really solid. Like on a technical level, they were some of the least fucky PS3 games. Minimal
I,
jank.
ju- I just think Uncharted 2 was just a much better game. It had a much better story, much better gameplay. Like it felt like what you wanted, like from an action movie. Like the only game I could say that I played recently that felt like Uncharted 2 was A Plague's Tale Requiem, which was
Hmm.
like the closest, if not probably better in a lot of aspects, of like an Uncharted game. Like that felt like an actual Uncharted game, and I loved it. And it's the only game that makes me actually like French people. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. No, dude, French people are Razor Fist
It's
kind
not.
of turned me around on the French with their bande dessinée and stuff like that, you know? I'm not a
Uh,
big Razor Fist fan because of his little Igor motherfucking Terengel. That motherfucker didn't read like 5 of my super chats. I'm never gonna forgive him. I kind of stopped watching Razor Fist streams just because of that. But read your super chats if there are any streamers there. Always read your damn super chats. But no, uh he talked about French bande dessinée, which is essentially like French equivalent of like manga or like comics. They've got
uh,
like this amazing artwork. It's very like I don't give a shit about offensiveness or whatever. I'm just gonna tell like the best story I can. It's very like sink or swim. You got to put out the best stuff you possibly can. uh, sorry, people are. I finally got someone using my 2 new emotes tonight in my chat. It feels good. Um, yeah, no, French people, they're not that bad. I feel like just based on their media, what they buy, like what they're into, it shows that if they weren't all putting out dog shit, the comics companies would probably be a lot more successful than they are now, you know?
mm, yeah, there's a lot of issues with a lot of industries. I At this point I just stopped caring about a lot of them because it's like I want to just focus on my like one hobby. I got to this point where it's like I used to have Legos, action figures, and all this other stuff too that I used to collect and comic books and all that stuff. But now that I'm married, now that I have a house and all these other responsibilities, it's like money needs to be kind of distributed to other things. So I basically just chose video games because a lot of them are super cheap to collect for, and a lot of them are just like one-time investments into like a system or something, you know?
Yeah, you buy it one time and you just own it from then on. I'm so pissed at my little brother for stealing a lot of my Game Boy DS and Game Boy Advance games and selling them to GameStop. That piece of shit. I will never forgive him till the day I die. If he didn't do that, I would have all those games. I would have thousands of dollars worth of those games. But yeah, no. Anyways, yeah, no. A lot of these older systems are just cost prohibitive to collect for. Just download them, keep them on a hard drive, copy them to other drives. I've got like an entire, like the whole library of like Super Nintendo, Genesis. No, we're not Shred Freak. We're not speaking well of the French. I take it back. No, all these old games. It's like 2 gigabytes. It does like all the libraries, all the games from all the libraries of all these old systems. It's amazing. So yeah, physical copies are great, but I gotta say, man, for retro games, I'm pretty happy with like FPGA. I fucking love FPGA. Oh,
Yeah, that technology does sound good. I liked just having it more as like an actual thing. Like we were talking about analog. I'm very excited about the future project that they're working on, the analog N64 device too. I can't wait for that to come out as well.
yeah, that one's going to be interesting. So the reason that that one's notable, the N64 one, is because the Mister system for the longest time they said N64 was going to be impossible to get running on it. And they felt the same way about PS1 and Saturn, but then they got a really good PS1 core that's effectively perfect now, and the Saturn core is really good. They're updating it like every week. It's just getting better and better and better. It's effectively as good as real hardware now. And the N64 core that they thought was never going to work, a lot of N64 games now work on the Mister, like a ton. Very few exceptions, like Jet Force Gemini, Conquer's Bad Fur Day, any of like the really high end games that push the shit out of the hardware. They thought Resident Evil 2 would never work on it because all the decompression and stuff in the back end was just really, really tough. And it's working. You could do like a full playthrough of Resident Evil 2 on the N64 on the Mister. And yeah, no, so the analog 64 system thing, whatever they end up calling it, I mean, honestly, the reason that was impressive was because the Mister was incapable of that. It was just outside of the hardware's capabilities, but it kind of isn't all that much now. I would say if you get any new FPGA consoles, get one that supports open FPGA. Oh, another thing. So the Mister system runs on a Cyclone. So Thoracic DE10 Nano is like the board that it's all running off of, and they're releasing clone boards soon. They're a lot cheaper. Definitely keep an eye out for that, guys. Don't overpay now like I did. Wait a couple months and get the much cheaper ones. But so they're porting this Mister thing over using this new initiative called Mistex. It's like Mister, but instead of an R, it's an X, and the X stands for Xilinx, Xilinx, which is AMD's thing. So Cyclone is owned by Intel, and it's only this one board that can possibly work on Mister, except for maybe some clone boards, but you can't have anything more powerful or whatever. But this Xilinx thing, they're porting it over to another architecture essentially. So you're going to have much more powerful Mistex systems, which are going to be able to play N64 and N64 and Dreamcast for sure. They're going to have those cores in a few years. I don't know about PS2, Xbox, GameCube, but that would be amazing if they could pull that off. But yeah, we're seeing so many changes, so many new, new projects and new initiatives that they keep like pushing out. It's amazing. Like Lightspeed, every single week there are like all these big new news updates for like new arcade cores, new updates to like garage shading in the Saturn core. They fixed that. That was a little glitchy. Now it's perfect, basically. So
Oh
cool.
wow.
Sorry, I'm springing out too much, aren't I?
No, you're fine. It's just you're just speak your mind, man. That's
Cool.
fine.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to like turn your brain off. Sometimes I go on rants and people's eyes kind of glaze over, and you sound a little bit like that. Like it might be
No,
happening.
it's like I don't want to interrupt you if this is something you're really passionate about. Yeah, I'm like, just please speak. Go
Well,
ahead.
it's like game preservation, but instead of just preserving the games, like we've already got ROMs, ISOs, bins, and queues and shit. Hardware preservation is like the big thing. Like you can emulate a lot of these systems, but running the code natively, not through software layers with perfect input latency, like no lag. Holy shit. It's
Yeah,
so cool, dude.
yeah, that's kind of like why I'm such a big collector of all the hardware still and
Yeah.
physical media. I like doing that more because, like I said, emulation, like it might be fine on a Steam Deck and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just
It's not the same,
To me,
yeah.
it's not even just like being the same. It's I just like to sit back and relax and kick my feet up and all that stuff on
Well,
like my
once you
big
set these
PC and all
things
that.
up, it just works from then on, basically. But that's
I
the
mean, I've tried
problem,
to
the tinkering and shit.
I've tried to do this all on my Steam Deck. Like my brother-in-law, he's a whiz kid. All right, the guy is smart as shit.
Hmm.
He's going to school to be a computer science major. He's A plus A student. Like on all his things, he's aces. Like
Nerd.
he's so smart, and he set up he built my computer for. Well, he got me. I asked him to build my computer like for the parts. My cousin actually built the rest because he's a nerd and he likes to do that shit.
Yeah, I
And
build computers. You call me nerd, you motherfucker?
yeah, you are a nerd. You're just.
That's cool.
But like he set up all my Steam Deck stuff for me too. He put all the emulators on it and stuff, and it's nice. It's fun. It just sometimes doesn't feel right. It's a lot of work for me as a luddite sometimes to just go in there and mess with files and download stuff, and it's just sometimes they don't work right. Sometimes they like I was playing Pokemon Coliseum on my Steam Deck, and all of a sudden just like the floors all disappeared. It was just
Yeah.
black floors, and I get that it's nice, it's great, it's a lot cheaper. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to knock anyone too, because retro collecting can be hell of expensive depending on what you're into. Rip if you're into JRPGs, especially. But
That's
it's
me.
oh same. Trust me, I
Fuck, I
know.
love JRPGs. Yeah, go on.
I do too. We could transition to that next,
Oh shit, yeah, dude.
but it's just like I said, it's just so nice because upstairs in my house, I got my PC over here, flanked by both my all my shelves with games on them, and then like right behind me actually is my retro center where I have like special HDMI converters hooked up to a lot of my old consoles to
Hmm.
put out native output on them for like 480p or I think the Xbox got up a little bit higher. I think out of all the consoles
Yeah,
too.
it could go up to, I think it was 720p at most, but
Yeah,
I don't know for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 720p. You're right, and Eon also just I think made a Xbox HDMI converter that I'm thinking about checking out and seeing if it makes a difference compared to what I got. But that's here nor there. And like I got my little chair that I have here, and I still have my original purple GameCube. It's got the Game Boy attachment on it too, and I just like to sit back, and just like play sitting in
Yeah,
my
it
chair.
just works. Just to be clear, I'm not saying that it's like disagreeable or wrong or whatever to be into like actual physical games. That's like the
Mhm.
correct way to play if you can pull it off, but um it's just
No,
it's
no.
costly, and from a preservation standpoint, we want the best possible long-term 100 years from now when the discs are all rotted kind of solution. But hell yeah, we're living
Yeah,
like
hundred
in an
percent.
era where we can play these games on actual hardware on discs that haven't rotted over time and shit like
Yeah,
that. The cartridges aren't powder.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
and
no problem with real physical copies, man. I got a
no,
shitload of games.
no, I'm not like I'm not trying to dunk on anyone or say anything. Like it's just a preference thing. But that's like the best part about gaming is like I want people to be a fan of what I like. I want people to play the games how I like. I don't give a shit how you play the game. I just want you to play the game, and that's another thing too, where it's like I understand like when people go like, oh, the game industry is just doing a bunch of like cheap cash grabs of like ports and remakes and stuff like
Give me
that.
the ports and remakes, just don't censor them or change them a bunch for modern values, and I'm
Yeah,
good.
no, and I'll say this too. It's like a lot of these games, like even though the Metal Gear Solid collection is like doo doo, I guess for because it was like a lazy port.
I would
But
just
like,
emulate them, yeah. I don't know.
yeah, you can just emulate them. But at the same time, it's like it's also now on the Xbox. You could play like the first Metal Gear game, which was never on there. All of them are on Nintendo Switch, so you instead of all scattered around where you have to play Metal Gear Solid 3 on a 3DS or something. It's
Yeah, that's
nice to
part of
have.
preservation, I feel like. Being able
Yeah,
to play it on a system that you have. Like, it's preserving the experience and passing it on to new generations. That's important. You
exactly.
won't ever catch me saying, like, oh, it sucks that they released this compilation collection or whatever. If it sucks, then yeah, I'll complain about the quality of it. Like that Tomb Raider remake trilogy thing, I was really excited for that. I was like, oh fuck, that's awesome. I'm gonna get that day one. I'm gonna do a stream series playing through those old games. And then they added a trigger warning thing to the beginning, and I'm like, okay, you fuckers. They basically disavowed the games at the beginning because oh, there was like evil tribal enemy guys, and oh, that's offensive to modern fucking whatever. The remake creator guys apparently aren't retards like that. It's Crystal Dynamics, the main Tomb Raider devs, who are fucking retards.
Yeah.
So the remake guys are great. Yeah, disavowed. I jokingly say disavow. Like if he were to say, I don't know, like well, I'm not gonna say, yeah, we're on big tech. I jokingly say I disavow when I hear something I agree with that's like, yeah, haram or whatever.
No, there's a
Yeah,
there's a bigger joke behind that that I was telling you a little bit earlier. That the disavow thing. I'll tell you more off stream about that because I don't really want to talk about that too much.
yeah, go for it. It's cool.
Yeah, no, but like you're not wrong. To me, I just feel like a trigger warning is literally I just press the A button and move on.
I fucking hate that shit so much,
I
man.
hate it too. I
It's
hate it too.
so gay. We can't just
It's
accept that. We gotta be intolerant, man. Tolerance is a vice, not a virtue.
I feel like, I feel like it's just like I'm older now. I feel like there's so many more real issues to deal with than I turn on a game and I just see this thing where it's like, well, this is a bunch. I just click A and move on. You know, the one thing that annoyed me way more than that was when EA in 2020 forced you to fucking say like you won't be racist before I played like my NHL game or
Dude,
something.
Destiny had something similar. Destiny 2.
Yes.
You try to like you fucking log into the game and they're like, "Yeah, you have to pledge allegiance to Black Lives Matter to play our game." I saw
Yes.
that. I closed the game. I uninstalled it from my PS4. I uninstalled it from my laptop. I uninstalled it from my desktop. I'm like, "Okay, I'm never touching Destiny ever again." And I haven't played it since.
Like I said, that stuff is like purely political. That stuff is over the top, and I 100% agree. I stopped buying a lot of EA games new. I only buy them really used now. If
Oh
I
wait, you're in
want to play them.
NHL?
Yeah, yeah. I used to. I'm a huge Blackhawks fan.
I don't know much about hockey, but I know it's one of the least gay sports, so kudos.
No, no, no. It's not. They have a bunch
It's
of
not one of the least gay sports?
not anymore. They've really kind of like dumbed down a lot of stuff.
Oh, I thought you were trying to. I thought you made a verbal mistake, and I could like start to say, "Whoa, he's gay. He's admitting he's gay. He's admitting he's
No,
gay." I thought it was gonna be one of those moments.
no. Like a
No,
lot, like sports.
all
You know,
sports are turning progressively gay, but like traditionally, hockey's one of the more manly, like cool ones. You know?
it's just the commissioners that run the leagues. To be honest with you, you just get over it. I guess after a while, it's like they'll have like their pride nights, and that's about it.
Uh
And it's like I really don't care if you're gay. It's just like
dude, you just got to go to the Pride Night as a white pride advocate with like a big pointy hood. You know?
no,
you gotta get banned permanently from there.
but I don't. I just don't care enough like that. It's funny to say that. It'd be funny for people to do that, but it's just like I just don't really care at the end of the
I
day.
heard you guys like pride.
You know,
White pear, white pear, white pear. Say white pear with a southern accent a bunch of times, you know, and you're good. White pear, white pear. You guys know what I mean.
but like I said, I'd rather just deal with like a stupid little warning and then I just press A and then I forget about it, you know, versus something where like I have to actively stop my game and be like, listen, you're a naughty boy because George Floyd died, so you have to say that you aren't racist, and then you could go play your little silly hockey game where there's only 3 black people in it. You know, it's like
Yeah. It's
that's
just
it.
I don't know. They killed too many things that I care about for me to not be like livid enough to try to I can't enjoy myself anymore when I see that stuff. Like it just completely saps all of the enjoyment and pleasure out of anything I'm doing if I see any
I
propaganda
guess,
bullshit, you know?
I guess, but like that just sucks, man. I don't know
It
what to
does
say.
suck. I'm not saying I wish that I had this, but that's just how I am. I can't stand this shit, you know? Like go back to the cool times go back to the cool era when I was actually offended by a lot of stuff. I didn't like say, "Oh, we need to ban this" or whatever. I was just like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." Like that's the proper response. Be like, "Oh, whoa."
But I feel like at the same time,
And laugh, you know?
I feel like a lot of stuff that we're seeing though is just going to date the games. Like this is just you're going to look back into it. You're going to see a bunch of the shit just like be on there, and it's just going to be like, well,
Yep.
this dates you from a time. Let's face it, when we grew up, we had the same thing growing up. It was called 4Kids, you know? They censored Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, localization, and all this other stuff, you
Yeah,
know?
we just didn't know about it back then.
Yeah, we just didn't know about it. And even then, it's like, it's still, this was done by, you know, Bush Republicans, the stuffy, NIMBY housewives, you know, the well-to-do fucking housewives who were like, oh, no, magic's going to make you gay and worship Satan. Now it's just like, yeah, well, we want magic to make you gay and worship Satan, you know? It's like,
Yeah, like what the hell is this weird inversion? It's
it's like, what?
Overton window, you know.
Yeah.
It's like Styx has talked about it before. It's like types of moral panic. I think a lot of that shit is World Economic Forum driven though, like trying to push certain things to get people to be a certain way. It's so weird. They're trying to mold the world into their vision, and they're using those multi-trillion-dollar investment firms to try to push it. It's the weirdest shit, dude. It's like it's a whole web, you know.
Well, it's not even just like they're using the institutions to push it. It's also because the people they hire believe in it, you know? It's
Yep.
like the whole thing that's going on
That's
with
one of the
Spider-Man
hardest things
2.
for me to wrap my head around. They actually believe this dog shit? Like what? Like they're not just trolling?
Well, because look at a lot of areas where they hire. They are in a lot of those
Yep.
progressively blue areas, and that's who they hire is those progressively blue weirdos.
And a lot of those people, like they would like if you were to try to do that shit for their like try to make their kids be that way, they don't they don't allow that. They're like, no, my kid's not about to go fucking do the weird little protest for Israel or Palestine or whatever. No, my kid's gonna graduate.
Yeah, but
Like they don't
still,
really believe it. They just go along with the crowd unthinkingly like fucking NPCs. I don't think a lot of people are actually NPCs in the NPC circles. I think they're just weak-willed and they just want to follow the crowd because they don't have that boldness that like they can't strike out on their own, you know? They just have to follow the collective. Ah,
that's a tale as old as time, though. If you as being a history major as me, it's
yeah.
nothing shocks you. It's like the Salem witch trials, you know, riots and everything else through every major
Yeah,
civilization.
same. I just think it's important to try to make sure that people around you, people you care about, friends, relatives, whatever, they don't turn out that way. You know, like try to make sure that everyone you care about thinks for themselves. Like you even like give them moments where they can disagree with you a bunch and be like, yeah, cool, go for it, bro. You can have your opinion. I don't give a fuck. It's cool,
Just
you
so
know?
much. I just like to have a conversation. I don't have to agree with everything people say to like them.
Yeah.
There's, like I said, there's a lot of people I listen to every day, or I'm friends with that say stuff that I disagree with, and you need to have disagreements. Otherwise, you just have an echo chamber. And if someone's just in an echo chamber, like as long as you're like, I'll say this. It's like I get into arguments sometimes about Game Pass with people, and sometimes in different areas, someone will be like, "You're just a cum guzzling Microsoft simp," and I'm like, "Well, no, I am not. But your argument did not make any sense to me, and I'm offering a counterbalance, and your rebuttal to me is that I'm a loser who sucks dick." So it's like, oh well, I think we are at a problem now, don't you think? And it's kind of like that with some arguments now. It's like, you know, instead of like somebody saying what that guy did, they'll just call you istophobe, and then it's just like, well, then we won't talk to you because you're an istophobe for pointing out that I write I write my progressive view of a black person would be on the Daily Stormer if I shaved my hair a little different, you know. And
Yeah.
that's really what it is with a lot of stuff too. It's just like it's about perspective of what people say, and
Well,
because a lot of
going to that, you know what it looks like the average racist group looks like. It's very, very diverse and multicultural. You go
yeah.
to like the anti-racist groups, it's a bunch of white chicks.
Well, I think it's like when they called Larry Elder the blackface of white supremacy. I'm like, did you guys
Dude,
really?
oh,
Huh?
dude, Larry Elder is such a fucking bro. Him and oh fuck, who's that economist? He was
Uh,
really good about calling out. Oh, it's at the tip of my tongue. I'm really bad about remembering names. I'm so
okay.
dog shit at that. Larry
Hey,
Elder.
do you want to go read some of your chats real quick? I have to use the job.
Oh yeah, go for it. Go
All right.
peeps. He's peeing right now, Chad. Don't think about him pissing. That's weird. Why are you thinking about him pissing, chat? What the fuck? Just stop thinking about his wiener. Stop it. That's cool. Okay, Larry Elder, Sage of South Central, and the other guy is an economist. Thomas Sowell. There we go. I'm trying to think of Thomas Sowell. Larry Elder's done a lot of really good work spreading knowledge about how the government liked to see Shred Freak said that right after I said it. That lag. Don't you just love the lag? Anyways, they've done a lot of good work in pushing the knowledge that the government has done a lot to destroy the Black family unit by sending like employees, basically goons, door to door in black neighborhoods to say, "Hey, we'll give you a lot of money if you divorce your husband and go like single mom." It's one of the sources of the single parenthood statistic. Blacks were a lot less likely to be unmarried than white people, even. Like you go back like 60 years or whatever. I think it was the 50s. It was the 60s they started implementing that shit. Crime rate went up. Homelessness, joblessness, all the lessnesses. Thanks, government. We said a lot of slurs while you were gone. You're gonna get banned, bro. We talk mad shit about you.
That's fine. I expect this.
Yeah, we talk mad shit, bro. We were all like, "Oh, that fucking guy. Oh, fuck that. I hate that guy." Oh,
that's fine. I didn't know that we were streaming on Rumble.
Yeah.
But I guess we could pivot over to JRPGs now. I guess what are your favorite JRPGs then?
Oh, fuck. I hate those questions because there's so fucking many, dude.
List
if we were to cut it down to turn-based strategy JRPGs, Final Fantasy Tactics, like the Hitoshi Sakimoto soundtrack, the Yasumi Matsuno script, oh, the writing, oh god, yes, I love Final Fantasy Tactics on the PS1. PSP port's even better. Great translation. I really like okay, sorry, you next. You got to give one. What are some of your favorite JRPGs?
We could go back and forth. If
FF9's like my favorite in that series. If you go by the numbered entries, what's your favorite Final Fantasy?
Favorite Final Fantasy? None of them. They all suck.
You motherfucker. One through 9 are great.
Six is
10's good too. 12's is good. 6 is an interesting pick. I've started that game so many times and never beat it. Not because it's bad or anything like that, but because I'll start it on an emulator. This is another problem. This is another big problem with emulators. I'll start it on an emulator on one computer, and then I'll go to another PC and I'll be like, oh, let's play some FF6. And I'll be like, oh shit, I didn't save my save files properly. If I just kept it all in the same like SD card or whatever, maybe we'd be fine. But every time I jump to a new system, I'm like, hey, I want to play Final Fantasy VI. I don't want to have to figure out how to transfer over the fucking save file or whatever. Let's just start it over again. I've restarted FF6 like 6 or 7 times. Recently, the Game Boy Advance version on the Analog Pocket, and long story short, I keep corrupting my SD cards, so I can only use cartridges on my Analog Pocket. I have to go through and fix those at some point, but yeah.
Yeah. No, like I guess yeah, 6 was just my favorite one. I don't mind 7, but I feel like that's also just.
I mean, you could suplex a fucking ghost train in FF6. That's like the coolest moment of any JRPG ever. Okay, yeah. Like that's the coolest goddamn moment ever. I don't care what anyone says. Like that is just so peak. Like basically, I just get to that point in the game and then I move on, and then eventually I want to play through it again. So I get to that point and then I move on, and that's why I keep restarting it. That's why suplexing a phantom train.
I've recently started 14 because a friend of mine bought me all the expansions, including a new one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't hate that either. I know JT in the chat, he really loves 14. He streams it a lot too. I'm just not a big MMO
Oh, he's a streamer. Let me go follow him. My thing with 14 is you don't really own the game. I'm very particular about always online, game ownership, like all this stuff. I really want to own my games, which is why I like physical copies. They can't take that shit from you. I don't like MMOs where you have to like pay a monthly fee. Just let me own it locally, you know, like Phantasy Star Online. That game did it best. You own the game, you could play it offline, you could play it online, whatever. Like I never played Phantasy Star Online, but from a design perspective, like that's how they all should be in my book. I think they should all be like that. You know?
No, I feel what you're saying. All right, how about another JRPG series then? How about that? What's your other ones besides Final Fantasy?
That's it. I'm a pretend gamer. I'm a fake gamer. I don't actually like JRPGs. No, actually, there's just too many. I would have to go down like a list of like, okay, Front Mission. I like Front Mission a bit, but I never really beat those games. Kingdom Hearts was all right, but like, it's not really like a favorite. It's too cringe these days. Fuck. It's always like the one-offs. Sorry?
I really always like Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts 2 to me is still one of my favorite games of all time.
It's pretty fucking good. I wish it were a little harder.
Yeah, well, if you play on proud mode now with all the other updates too, like you could have it be fucking really hard. I always like to make a joke about it that Mickey's gold keyblade was all from the gold teeth that they stole from Holocaust survivors.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like the
Well,
joke about Walt
okay, I'm
Disney
gonna
was
refrain
always
from
like
making a
that.
few Holocaust jokes.
Yeah. Well, because like the joke is like Disney was an anti-Semite and that wasn't true, but it's still fun to just
Definitely
tease him
not
on
true. Yeah.
it.
That was so bullshit, man. Another kudos to Razor Fist for helping to expose that being bullshit. That and the MJ thing. I thought for the longest time that dude was a pedo. And I'm not one to just unthinkingly like accept what some big creator that I like says, but he brought the fucking receipts, you know.
How about Fire Emblem? What do you feel about Fire Emblem?
Mid. I like Advance Wars way more. Way the fuck more. One of my viewers really loves Fire Emblem, Furry Kittens. I love that dude. Full homo. But I don't like the there are a few things I dislike about it. One, it's not Advance Wars. Two, I don't like the mix of permadeath and like the weapons breaking and stuff like that. Like I like a challenge, but I mean, you really have to kind of cheese things and play it a certain way to get everyone to survive. And I'm like, I'm not really into. I just don't like. I don't like the RPG aspect too. I want a pure strategy game if I'm going to play a game like that. It's not enough of an RPG to work for me, and it's not enough of a pure strategy to work for me. Advance Wars is another game series by the same developers, and it kicks the ever loving shit out of Fire Emblem in my book. I love Advance Wars. You ever
I
play those
like them
games?
both. I like Advance Wars. I actually got the remake and I was playing it again and I sold it because the art style really just triggered the
That
shit out of
irks
me.
me.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like the cheap mobile game, and I was like, this it's I can't do it. I sold it and I bought the Game Boy Advance copies, and I've been
Dual
trying to play
Strike
them.
and Days of Ruin, dude. The DS games. You ever play those?
Not yet. I'm just
They are
working my way through the Game Boy
so
Advance ones
good.
first.
Don't let that slip from your life experiences. So we only get one life each, and there's only a set amount of time that you can dedicate to your hobbies, and there are a bunch of wonderful classics that I'm gonna miss out on playing. I gotta tell you, dude, Dual Strike and Days of Ruin, I strongly, strongly urge you to play those. Those are the best strategy games I've ever played. I don't think it'll ever get any better than those two. They're
It's
pure
just
and they're perfect. The design is perfect. It's
the
like
only problem.
chess.
The only problem I have is just time. That's just
Yeah,
really what it is. You're right, and it's
it's so
I
tough. I want to play thousands of games and I just can't, you know?
well, I mean, if I win a lottery, I could fit more time in there, but it's just the
Exactly.
8 hours of
Yeah.
work. That's kind of why I've also been trying to pick up more handhelds because my job is very generous. I could actually take probably an hour and a half lunch break if I want.
I take hour
You
long
know,
lunch breaks. They're great. I go a little over almost every day.
yeah. See, my job, they said I have an hour lunch break and then I can have two 15-minute breaks. So sometimes you could take an hour and a half lunch break if you're like really dead. They don't care. But like what I try to do is I because my company still buys us lunch and I don't know why because they started doing
Cool.
that for COVID. But during my lunch break, I'll finish my lunch and then I'll bring out my Steam Deck or my Vita or something. That's where I've been playing Soul Sacrifice. Is
Mm-hmm.
mostly on my lunch break or in bed, and that I find that's been helping a lot more. But uh, another problem I have too is like I just don't like playing JRPGs in public that much. That's like
Uh-huh.
another problem because they're so weeb focused and all that fucking weird shit that
What
I
do you
don't
care
need to
about?
ever.
You care about being judged like that?
It's not that I care about being judged. It's I just don't want people interrupting my like personal experience because I love getting it lost in these stories a lot.
Okay, yeah, that
That's
makes
another
sense.
thing. So like I like Persona. Like Persona's like you know one of my favorite franchises now. But I hate playing Persona in public when I have to do all like the friendship building and stuff because I'm like, man, I just want to be at home, like just getting lost in this world by myself. I don't need people like coming over and be like, what you doing there, huh?
Yeah, I would feel that way about like moe anime. Like I love cute fucking moe anime. Okay, I'm a manly man, and I love cute anime girls being cute. All right, that's not gay or whatever. It's not well, it is kind of cringe, but I wouldn't
I got
watch that shit in public though, because I'm just like I don't know, like I need to be in the zone, like really enjoying it. Like I don't know,
also this year.
comedy.
I would say one of the things I've been saying is that 2024 has been definitely like the year of the JRPG. So if you like JRPGs, there's so many that came out this year that you could satisfy from pretty much all these major like titles too. Like Ys is getting a new series. Final Fantasy got their part
Well,
two.
see, I don't like a lot of that FF7 remake can suck my fucking cock. I'm angry about that shit. Dog shit.
It doesn't matter
Fuck that
about that
shit.
stuff.
People
I'm just kind
like
of
for
going with.
my tastes, 2024 has been a disappointing year for JRPGs personally.
I mean, it's still been pretty good overall in terms of just like what's coming out, what's
Well,
supposed
we're
to come,
getting
and what's
like
going
that
on
Persona, the Shin Megami Tensei 5
next month.
thing for PC, Xbox, and PS5. I might pick that up again. I have it on Switch. I beat like half of it. That's probably the best JRPG I've played in the past like 5 years for new JRPGs. But that's mainly because we kind of have had a little bit of a glut of them. We've had like a few really good ones, but that's one of the only like AAA ones that looks great, sounds great, has good gameplay. I love Shin Megami Tensei 5. Really, really good game. Strongly recommend it to anyone who wants a good modern JRPG. I got that Soul Hackers 2, and by the way, I just got a copy of Soul Hackers 1 for Sega Saturn, Japanese version. No joke. Literally just got that like a couple days ago. But I got Soul Hackers 2, and I just haven't spent the time playing it. Like JRPGs are tough because most of my gaming these days is done while I'm streaming. Like that's most of my gaming time. If I'm not streaming, then I'm often just like brain off, watch a video, cook food, clean up apartment. I don't know, like it's always something else. And then when it's stream time, it's like, okay, cool. I get to spend 6 hours straight playing some retro game or whatever. And JRPGs are these huge investments. You have to do like, yeah, you have to do like 10 streams of one game or whatever. And it's a lot of text and it's a lot of non-spoken dialogue, or if it is spoken dialogue, you kind of want to just skip a lot of it because it's so slow a lot of the time. A lot of the time it's not worth listening to the dialogue. So I prefer when it is worth listening to, like in Final Fantasy 12, but yeah, I don't stream a lot of JRPGs. It's like my favorite genre of gaming probably, and I don't stream it a lot. It's just such a not streaming friendly genre, I feel like.
I don't think JRPGs are fun to stream. I feel like
Yeah.
those are more fun to be personal. You
Yep.
know, like I guess this counts as a JRPG. I mean, technically, people say Dark Souls is a JRPG. People say that
Eh,
Monster Hunter is a JRPG. You know,
yeah, those are like
but
kinda, I'd consider
not
them more action.
JRPGs. I
Like
do
a
too.
JRPG is like Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, Shin Megami Tensei, that kind of stuff. Bravely Default, what is that? Triangle, well, not Triangle Strategy. That's kind of a
Yeah,
weird one.
Triangle Strategy.
I'm so disappointed, but that was another one that they censored. I paid like full price for it at launch because I love the Octopath Traveler game so much. And then I found out like a week or two later they censored the ever loving fuck out of the script, and I'm like, okay, I'm never playing that ever again. I'm so disappointed. It just ruins the fun. I can't enjoy it if they've tainted it. You know, hate that shit.
Uh, another game that came out this year that I really did enjoy a lot was Unicorn Overlord. Have you heard about it?
Yeah, that's another case where I'm a big Vanillaware fan. I liked Dragon's Crown. I liked Muramos of the Demon Blade on the Vita. There was also a Wii version of that too. I liked there were a few other games they released, but then they put out that game 13 Sentinels, and I paid full price for that. I don't pay full price for most games. Most games I wait until they're in the bargain bin, okay? But like I paid full price for 13 Sentinels because I was like, holy shit, new Vanillaware game. I am so hyped, and I get it. And before I boot the game up, like after it shipped, I was gonna wait a few days and give it a go. I find out that they turn one of the characters kind of trans or something near the end of the game or whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm out.
You're
I
missing
don't
out,
trust
man, on that
Vanillaware,
one.
dude. I just don't trust
You're
Vanillaware
missing out. You're
ever.
missing
I
out.
can't.
You're just missing out.
I'm missing out.
You're
How,
letting it get
there
to
are
you too much, man.
thousands
I'm
of
telling you.
games. There are thousands of games I could be playing, and I don't want to play ones that are trying to push weird trans ideology down my throat. I
They're really
hate that.
Unicorn Overlord ain't doing that, man. You're missing out on a great one. I'm telling you this right
I'm
now.
well aware that I'm missing out on that. You know how many games I'm missing out on? Thousands of great games. I'm set.
Love this
I'm
one.
full,
I'm telling
man.
you love this
I
one.
probably would, but I'm full on games, and like they piss me off. I'll wait until it's in the bargain bin, you know, and then I'll vet it.
I mean, it's been on sale a lot. I've beaten the game 100%. I can tell you, you would
I'll
love
wait till it's like $15 and on PC, and if they fucked with the script or whatever, I'll play a modded version that unfucks the script. That's what I'll do. That's my stance on modern games, you know. Like, if they're gonna fuck around with the scripts, I'm just gonna hold off and not give them my money until it's in the bargain bin. Like, I own thousands of games. I don't need more. I could go the rest of my life not buying another game, and I'm set on entertainment for the rest of my existence, you know? Like, I don't need to buy more games. I really don't. I'm gonna keep at it because I love video games, but like I'll eventually play Unicorn Overlord. And they've got this older game called Princess Crown for the Sega Saturn. It's like Dragon's Crown kind of, minus the sexy women sadly, but it's for the Saturn. It's Japan only. And some people have been
I
working
never
on
heard
an
of it.
English fan patch for the longest time. It's basically like what's that other game they made? Odin Sphere. It's kind of like Odin
Oh,
Sphere or like Dragon's Crown, but it's more of like kind of like a linear narrative, I guess. I can't wait till the fan patch releases because I'm gonna definitely play that. Oh, but no, I like Vanillaware, dude. I like Vanillaware a lot. I hate
get,
what Sega and Atlas are making them do. You know,
I uh, I need to get Fernando to help me download the fan translation because there's a Japanese game I have right now for my PS3. Basically, I just need to soft mod it and get the patch
what's the
so I can
game?
play. It's called EX Trooper for the PS3.
EX Troopers English patch PS3.
Yeah, there's
Hey,
a fan translation of it that they've been working on, and they finally got it like updated so you can get a patch for it.
I linked you one link for that. Let's see if CD Romance has it. CD Romance. Ah, there's no CD Romance download. Well, I linked you to the English translation just now, but I don't know how to install it, so I don't know. They probably have a good little description thing. What is EX Troopers?
EX
Oh,
Troopers
it's a
was actually
spin-off of Lost Planet. I remember that now. Shit.
yeah, that's about
Yeah,
right.
I'm such a fucking spurg. I'm like, oh, I remember that now. I read about that in an article 12 years ago or whatever. Like, god damn it.
Nah, that's fine. It also came out on the Game Boy Advance, not the Game Boy Advance,
3DS.
the 3DS too.
3DS
Yeah,
and
I thought that was
PS3,
pretty cool.
yeah.
But we got Lost Planet 3, and that was all we got.
Dude, I was so disappointed by the 3DS, man. I got one around launch window and I was so pumped. And then they were like no games at launch for it that were worthwhile. And we were like, okay, Mega Man Legends 3. And then they canceled that. And then there was like some other big game that they announced and they canceled or delayed it a ton or something like that. And then Ocarina of Time 3D came out. And I was pissed about that because it was $40 and there were just a range of reasons I was disappointed in it. And I ended up refunding my $250 3DS after they made it $170 and I got a Vita and I was so much happier with that. Vita's way better. Holy shit.
Yeah, sadly, the Vita died a painful, slow death.
Yep. Now I've got a new 3DS that doesn't nuke my eyeballs and make me hurt, and I like the 3DS's library now.
Yeah, I never used the 3DS mode either, or the 3D mode, I should say, because it did hurt my
Yeah.
eyes as well.
Yeah, on the new
I
systems, it's a lot better.
Yeah, and then they made the 2DS, which I was like, well, this kind of is much better.
Yeah, that was my thing. I got a 3DS and it sucked, so I refunded it. And then I got a 3DS XL and it also hurt my eyes, so I refunded it the same day. I just thought bigger screen, they say it's better. Surely it'll be better, and it still hurt my eyes. So then I refunded that. And then eventually, years and years later, I got a 2DS. The one that doesn't fold, doesn't really fit in your pocket very well. That is a very ergonomic system that feels so fun to play on. 2DS kicks ass. And that's what got me back into the 3DS. I eventually took a chance on a new 3DS. So it was only like $100 on Black Friday at Walmart or whatever. Yeah, that's my new system that I play like 3DS games on. It's good. I've had a good time with that.
Yeah, recently I discovered Project X Zone. Have you heard of this game?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Project X Zone. Is that now one thing I never knew about that one? That was more of like a strategy game, wasn't it, instead of a
It
fighting
was
game?
it was a strategy tactics fighting game RPG. It was like a
Wait, it
weird
had
mix of
fighting game elements too?
yeah. So like
Okay.
the combat was a combo system. So you got to in the first one you had basically you had to make a combo and try to juggle the opponent as much as you could, and then if you did it right and were able to juggle correctly, you did extra damage and you got a free combo hit in as well.
Yeah,
But the only problem,
it was such a genre hybrid. I was like baffled. I just never got into it. There are too many games, you know. It
I,
seems cool,
I,
but
it's very fun. I just beat both of them. I love it because it's a very fan service game. It's just a giant mashup of all your favorite old IPs. In fact, I recently went out and bought a few games from just learning about them from Project X Zone. You know, like a couple of Shining Force games that I found because some of the characters in there were Shining Force
I'm
characters.
about to get into the Shining Force series, man. I played a little bit of the original on Genesis. I think I'm going to skip straight to 3 on the Saturn. By the way, Shining Force 3 is a Saturn game, and we got basically episode 1 of Shining Force 3 in the USA, and then the second and third parts of that were Japan only. So we only got like essentially a third of the experience, and fan translations made them all playable. Go to cdromance.com. Everyone who's listening, if you want to download that, go for it. That's how you do it. Valkyrie Profile, that's another game you can pirate very easily. Compa, you should totally do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Valkyrian Chronicles 2, they got the best
No,
Valkyrian
Valkyrie
Chronicles still
Profile. But I like
No,
Valkyria Chronicles too. Like, a
oh no,
lot.
I was talking about both. That's what I was
Actually, now
saying.
that I think on it, that's another thing I need to pirate. Valkyria Chronicles 2 has to have an English patch, doesn't it? That's one I played 1, 3, and 4 a lot. No. I played 1, 2, and 4. 3 is the one that didn't get the English release. Valkyria Chronicles 3 fan translation. Okay, I'm going to say
Number three,
English CD romance.
yeah,
There we go.
number three was definitely like the best one out of all of them. And the funny part is the reason why I want to play those ones is because that's the game they used for the Valkyrian representation in Project X Zone.
It seems like the best Valkyria game, honestly.
Yes, and we didn't get that because Japan hates us. So we got 1, 2, 2 is trash, and then we got 4, but no
See,
3.
2's like kind of garbage, but I enjoyed it, you know? Like it's not a good game, but I enjoyed it. It's like what was that thing? Deep Fear is garbage. I really enjoy Deep Fear. I like Deep Fear a lot so far, but it's total trash, you know?
Well, because it's an old Tank Controls ripoff of a Resident Evil game.
Well,
but,
no. The issue with that isn't that stuff. I'm cool with the tank controls. I'm cool with other games being like Resident Evil, but not being Resident Evil. What I like is it's the voice acting is so fucking bad. Like the Dubois character, he's got this falsetto, like super gay voice that's really like offensive but funny. I like it. And then like the general voice acting is bad. The animations are bad. The writing is really just hilarious and baffling. It's not a good game, but I like it a lot. And we're gonna play through all the rest of it for sure on the channel, like within a week. So
yeah, I'm slowly just trying to get into my Sega Saturn collection. With I got like Albert's Odyssey. That's like one of the games that was trying to get for like a while, and I finally was able to get it.
yeah, I spent a few hours the past like month or so downloading all the PS1 games I would ever be interested in that I could think of, which is like hundreds. And I'm sure there are going to be some Japan only games. Like just yesterday, I downloaded a few other English patch games like Mazurna Falls, Germs, and a few other weird oddities. Uh, and I've got them all. My collection of PS1 ISOs and ROMs and shit is stellar. And my Saturn collection, I've got like 100 Saturn games or something. It's so great. I'm so happy with my digital stuff on the Mister right now. All accessible within like a minute. Love that shit.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just so expensive to collect for Saturn. Saturn and
Yeah.
GameCube are like the two most expensive consoles for me to collect for because the game prices are just astronomical.
Yeah, a week or so, a week or so ago, I bought a Sega Saturn off of eBay, my first Saturn ever, and it was a Japanese Saturn. It was $100 plus like tax and shipping made it 155 or something crazy. But it's a Saturn. It has 2 controllers which I can hook up to my Mister, like genuine Saturn controllers. It came with Panzer Dragoon 2. Holy shit! It came with Shining the Holy Ark, which was one of the Shining games for that system.
I have that game.
You said you hate it?
I have that one.
Oh, have. I was gonna say it seems pretty cool. I like first person dungeon crawlers like that. It's got this game called Gotha, which is like a weird like space strategy RPG thing. We never got it in the West. I don't think it has an English patch. And the 4th game that it came with was Soul Hackers, Shin Megami Tensei Soul Hackers. I think it's the one that we didn't get. Like, there's one that came out on the 3DS in the West, and there was like another Soul Hackers-y game, and we no, Devil Summoner Digital. It was something like that.
Digital Devil Summoner, yeah.
That's right. Oh, so I did just get Soul Hackers, didn't I? Okay, so I didn't get the one that we didn't ever get a copy of in the West. Oh well.
There's like Devil Summoners, and then there's like
Yeah, it was.
Digital Devil Saga, which
No,
is like another.
Digital Devil Saga was a PS2 duology that I started streaming on Rumble, and when I quit Rumble, I kind of quit streaming that one, but it's cool.
Well, like I said, there's Atlas published a lot of these like devil things, like Devil Summoner, Digital
Yeah.
Devil Summoner, Devil.
One of my
there's another
first
devil-
JRPGs ever was on the Game Boy Color, Revelations the Demon Slayer. It was like Pokemon, except you could basically recruit Satan into your party.
Yes, I do remember that. Those games are incredibly expensive if you want to get them complete in box.
I've got it on a cartridge. I've still got it. Thank God.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Loose these games are not super expensive for a lot of Game Boy fans, but I'm a glutton for punishment, so I got to get the box too.
Yeah. Oh God, I love boxes and manuals so much, dude. I almost want to start a business where I reprint old game manuals and just send those to people. Like people just buy whatever the hell manual they want, you know? That'd be so nice.
There's a lot of businesses that actually kind of do that too.
On Etsy, yeah, there are tons of options. You're right, actually. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, because a lot of my Pokemon boxes are actually repos. There's one that I go to. I don't know the name, but some guy in Poland who does all of them in like actual cardboard. You could tell they're not like authentic because the authentic ones are like shiny and
yeah, that glossy. You can't really.
And the feel of the box like is a little bit more like rubber. It feels like
And
rubbery.
the smell.
But they are cardboard, and it comes with like the cardboard inserts. So I like to buy those it gives you a box protector too. So it's like this dude hooks you up like for sure.
Yeah.
And I love that too. Like I only have one. Of all the mainline Pokemon games for the Game Boys,
Imagine the smell. Sorry, Compa said that.
That's fine.
That's probably a meme you might not know about. So Pokemon, did you ever fall off of that series, or do you still
Nope.
Still got all of them? Cool.
I still love it. I love the last one I played too. Me and Fernando were obsessed with playing that. We played it for hours. I liked the story.
Which one was that?
Scarlet and Violet. Ran like dog shit, but I still loved it. I thought it was probably one of the better Pokemon games I've played for quite some time. I love terrestrialization. Like I said, I thought the story was a little bit more mature. You know, it's like people die in that game, and you got like all that stuff. It's just fun. I like it. I understand why people didn't like it. There's no excuse for the performance in that game. That performance is ass. But I was like, if they got this to run at like 60 FPS, this game would be amazing.
Honestly, when the Super Switch comes out, I think a lot of these games with uncapped frame rates are just gonna have locked frame rates. We're talking like if it's uncapped up to 60 and the game normally runs at like 15 to 25 FPS on the Switch, it's probably going to be a locked 60 on the Super Switch. It's one of the reasons I want to get one, because all these games with like unstable performance are just not quite there. It's going to be amazing on the Super Switch.
I wait for the Switch 2. I want to just play a lot of these Switch games again. I just really have a problem with 30 FPS now. I can do it, but on the Switch, it's like 30 FPS and then there's just dips.
Yeah, my main thing is I dislike that, that instability, the dips. Like, I can kind of tolerate 30 FPS with a controller as long as it's not like certain genres or whatever. I usually play at 120 FPS on a 4K OLED monitor, so I like my frame rates and stuff. But
I'm at 60. I'm a 60 guy. I'm 60 is like I just need that base now. I could do 30. Like I played Starfield at 30 for testing purposes on both the X and the S, and it ran okay on the S, surprisingly at 30. But it's just like those dips, man. I just like I can't do it. Like Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch. It's like, oof, man. There was some rough patches. Like I have probably 400 hours in it on the Switch, and I've been playing it on the PC, and it's just like I don't want to go back and touch it on the Switch. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, the PC port of that game is so good, I mean, I would never go back either. I have it on the Switch and I have it on PC, and it's like, do you want to play it at 4K 120 FPS, max settings, looks great for current year, or do you want to play it at 720, it's like 762p or something weird like that, 30 FPS unstable, Yeah, Super Switch is gonna be a gigantic leap. It's gonna be huge. I can't wait for that thing, dude.
I just can't wait. Like I said, I just want games like Breath of the Wild. Like Breath
Tears
of
of
the
the
Wild.
Kingdom runs like shit on the Switch. I got
Yes,
it.
exactly.
I quit it. I was going to mention that. And you reminded me when you said Breath of the Wild. I'm like, oh, geez, sorry to interrupt you there. But I'm like, I had to interject with Tears of the fucking Kingdom. Why does it run so bad? Oh, it's awful. So that game is like 900p at most when it's docked, but it's got like this weird dynamic resolution kind of. I think like when you're turning the camera, it cuts the horizontal resolution in half. So it's almost like a weird kind of interlacing almost, but not. And it's like, it's very, very unstable frame rate. So I got that game at launch, full price, I think. Or no, I paid $60 at launch, $10 off. And I just have not gotten past that intro section. Like I got through the intro and I didn't get any further past that, is what I mean. Because the performance is awful. I waited forever for Tears of the Kingdom. I wasn't that hyped for it. When the Super Switch comes out, that'll be one of the killer apps for the Super Switch, I think, because it's actually going to run acceptably well, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's like even on games that shouldn't be this like demanding on the console. Like I played that Princess Peach game this year, and it's like, well, this is fun. It's like the performance issues are just so
Oh
noticeable to
man,
me
even
now.
on the Peach game, I didn't expect that. That's terrible.
I know that's what I said, and I'm just like, I like my Switch. I liked it more a couple years ago, but the performance issues are just starting to catch up with me. Where it's just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. I love collecting for the Switch. I have
I got
my
a
wife
bunch of
has a Switch.
cartridges.
Yeah, I got a bunch of
I like
cartridges.
to
My
lick
wife
them.
weirdo.
They taste good. You ever try it, dude? They made a special
No,
flavor for them.
I'm okay.
No, no, no. Seriously, you didn't hear about that? They made a special flavor for the Switch cartridges where
What's
it's
that?
supposed to. This is actually a real thing. They put a flavoring thing on them to make it taste horribly bitter for most people,
Yeah.
and it's to try to keep kids from swallowing it, like choking and dying or whatever. But for certain sliver of the population, the cartridges taste wonderful. You should give it a lick, dude. Everyone in chat, if you got a Switch, lick your cartridge, bro.
You guys could do that and find out if you are also like those people who think cilantro tastes like soap.
That's the funny thing. It kind of tastes a little bit like soap to me, but I like it.
Yeah,
I
I
love
guess that's like
cilantro.
that's like a weird thing. Like some people hate cilantro because it tastes like soap to them.
Yeah, I kind of taste the soap a little bit, but I'm a little hand washy boy, so I'm like, ooh, it tastes like my mouth is clean, you know? Yeah. I like
That's so
cilantro.
weird.
It's cool. I
But
don't
yeah,
actually lick my cartridges. I'm just hoping at least one person in the chat is gonna go lick it because they actually did flavor them though. Is that something you don't know about?
that one.
Yeah, the
That,
Switch
that's
thing, they actually did put like a bitter tasting like flavor agent thing on it to keep little kids from swallowing the cartridges and choking to death or whatever. They actually did that for all Switch cartridges.
I'll say that my dog doesn't give a shit. She loved it. So
Oh god, what an asshole.
yeah, she got to she destroyed two Switch games when we first got her. Uh,
Aw.
but it wasn't like anything special. It was like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. No, yeah, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
You consider that
And
kind of special. It's not a great game, but that's a Switch
well,
copy. I didn't even know that was on Switch. That's one of those games they keep putting like out of print and they stop selling it on the digital marketplaces and then they bring it back because they did more licensing work because it sells better than the freaking Infinite sequel or whatever. Yeah, I think Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is pretty good. Older ones are like a little better, but I'm not into
yeah,
those kinds of fighters anyways, you know?
well, no, it wasn't the fighting game. It was the group game,
Oh.
Ultimate Alliance. The
Oh, they put that on. Oh, 3. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
The
the third
Activision
one.
one. Well,
Well, the third one was like exclusive to the
wait, didn't
Switch.
Platinum Games develop that? It was like published by Activision. Let me Google that. 'Cause I remember when that launched, I was like apprehensive but kind of interested. And then people were like, "Yeah, it's not that good." So I just kind of forgot it existed until you pointed it out just now. It was developed by oh come on, not the Nintendo website. There we go. It's by Team Ninja.
Yes.
The Ninja Gaiden guys made that, except not really because Tomonobu Itagaki's out and it's all a bunch of weird suits or whatever. They need to bring back the floppy titties and stop putting out games like what was that Way of the Ninja or whatever the one that's coming out soon. It seems
It's
okay,
Rise
but I
of
don't know.
Ronin.
Rise of Ronin, yeah. Just give us more floppy anime girl tits. Fucking Dead or Alive, make that shit come back, dude. Dead or Alive rocks, dude. I fucking love Dead or Alive. In terms of gameplay, even if you didn't have beautiful women, I would still think that's like my favorite traditional fighting game series because the gameplay just feels really good. It's got a good feel. I just like it. I like it a lot. But you've also got cute women and floppy tits, boobs, a lot of boobs.
We, as I was getting back onto what I was saying,
Oh, sorry, I just got all. I was like, boobs, boobs, go on.
you're fine. Ultimate Alliance, we had two copies because my wife wanted one for herself to play for us to play together. So the dog destroyed that one, and my wife is kind of a casual gamer. She's kind of been playing more games as we've been together.
Go call her a
But she
normie to
also,
her face, bro.
I always do, and
Oh, that's awesome.
I need her to be kind of a normie to balance me out. But like she also likes those Lego games, and she's a big Harry Potter fan. So that was the other game that was unfortunately lost was Lego Harry Potter for the
uh,
Switch.
that's one of the only games I've ever got a platinum trophy on PlayStation was like one of the Lego Harry Potter Vita games. So when the Vita launched, I got all of the launch I got all the launch games for the Vita because some radio station across the USA was doing like some giveaway or something of all the Vita launch titles, and I signed up and I won. I have a weird knack for winning like drawings. But yeah, I got all the launch titles, and that was a really easy platinum. And I was like starving for Vita games, and yeah, I got a platinum on that game.
Very nice.
Like 3 games I've ever gotten a platinum on, and that's one of them. And I didn't really like it that much. It's a Lego game. I don't know. It's not for me. It's fine. It's just that, like if I were collecting games and I had the option of buying all those as part of the collection, I'd be like, nah, you can leave out the Lego games. It's fine. I don't know.
Oh,
Hey, what
so
controllers do you like using? You a mouse and keyboard guy for shooters, or you a controller guy?
I'm not really a big mouse and keyboard guy for a lot of things because I'm a controller guy for the most part. I think for me personally, I understand that the advantage is that the mouse is more accurate, and I totally get that. But I don't play competitive shooters anymore. You know,
Yeah.
like so for if I was playing more competitive games, then yeah, I would probably want to definitely learn how to do mouse and keyboard. But my days of being the sweaty nerd that like just rocks people on Halo 3 or Call of Duty are just done. I'm too old. I just rather do PvE stuff with my buddies, like raids or stuff like that.
Well, see,
And
I've never, not a single day in my life, been into those competitive games. But you get games like Wrath, Eon of Ruin, Quake, Doom Eternal, max difficulty. It is a certain, very specific kind of rush to play these really hard boomer shooters really, really well at the top difficulty. It feels really good, dude.
I love Doom Eternal. That's
Oh,
one of my
dude, I
favorite games
played that
that I played
game
recently.
through over a dozen times. I fucking love Doom Eternal. I've got it on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. I bought the collector's edition. I literally played through that well over a dozen times. I did a playthrough using only after like 3 playthroughs of the game, I was like, you know what? I want to do a challenge run, and I thought, what are my least used weapon mods? I used the microwave beam the least, and the auto shotgun the least. So I did a playthrough using only those weapon mods and no other weapons allowed, no other weapon mods allowed. I didn't get to fire the plasma gun for normal shots or whatever. That was it. That's all I did. And I beat it on nightmare difficulty. And then I did it again with a controller on nightmare difficulty. So I love Doom Eternal, dude. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Doom Eternal is great. I love it a lot more than 2016. I know that's controversial to some
I
people,
agree. 100%.
and I
100%.
thought
They're both
I
great,
thought
but I love Eternal more.
I thought it was weird too because like a couple months ago last year, there was like a month, like there was like a week. Now it was like a random day where like people on Twitter were like saying like Doom Eternal was shit, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, it's like where's this controversy coming from? Where it's like,
Oh, what kind of moron would say that? What was their reasoning for that? Because the only complaints I heard about were like they updated the game to make the Marauder have like the Tweety Bird thingies and the noise whenever you stagger him. That was an awful update. That's about it. That's the only valid complaint I know about. Everything else
I
is
think
just dumb.
I just think a lot of people got filtered by the Marauder, and
Get good. I beat his ass with a fucking auto shotgun. You know how hard that is?
I mean
So
it's all about
hard.
learning timing and all that stuff.
It
You know
was
what I mean?
so hard with the auto shotgun, dude.
Yeah. I thought the Marauder was fine. I liked him as like a little
He's one
mini
of my
boss.
favorite enemies to fight in that game. You just got to get good, dude. My norm for fighting the Marauder is to two cycle him. You just, auto shotgun, ballista, auto shotgun, and then, no, not auto, double barrel. So super shotgun, ballista, super shotgun, do that twice and he's out. That's it. That's all it takes. It's so
Yeah.
simple.
I feel like the only complaint I had was the final boss, and it's just like I kept fucking running around.
Yeah,
Like,
first time I beat the game, I had a pretty tough time with the final boss. Second time, not that tough. Every other time after that, it just clicked for me. Like I like that boss now.
yeah, I think that was like the only thing. I didn't go back and play it. I've been thinking about doing it recently because they got
Oh,
the
bro, you gotta.
updates.
Did you beat it on Nightmare?
I
It's
don't
a
really.
different game on the higher difficulties. I swear, it's so much better. I'm not a big fan of like, oh, you gotta play it on hard. You gotta play it on hard, or you didn't beat it at all. If you want to play through it on easy, I don't give a shit. Go for it. But Doom
I don't.
Eternal is an exception.
I don't play games usually on easy unless I just want to get them over with because I'm just like, this is so boring. I want to be done. Because I find easy now is just like brain dead insulting for a lot of people.
Games urinalist difficulty. I like never
Yeah.
play on easy mode. I don't think I can remember the last time I've done that.
I think like normal is usually what I go with. It's just like I want a little bit of a challenge. And then if it's too insulting for even on normal, I'll crank it up to hard.
Yeah.
I want to beat the games more so than anything else because I just want to experience these games, but I also don't want to be like my hand needs to be held and I need to be like led around like an Alzheimer patient to beat these games.
Yeah, urinalist mode. I usually just like playing through on like normal difficulty, but sometimes if it's like an arena shooter like Doom or Quake or whatever, I kind of just go straight to hard mode generally. Because just boomer shooters specifically, as long as they're not bullshit like Blood, that game is so bullshit on high difficulties, with like hit scan enemies and stuff. Uh, it's a different kind of game where you have to really consider your weapons. You can either start nodding off because you like just the basic shotgun can kill everything. You don't really have to think about which guns are better against which enemies or whatever. You just shoot, 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 shoot. Or you can play it on hard mode and it's like every combat encounter is like the arena is laid out in a certain way with enemies in a certain placement, and you know that like switching to this gun for that cluster of enemies is ideal, and then it's optimal to take out that enemy with like a rocket launcher, and then you know, like I love that it's so different on higher difficulties. So boomer shooters specifically, I think it's good to play through them on hard mode if you're good enough at them. If you're not that good at them, no shame. Like it's not really all that bragging rights to be good at a video game. I feel like, you know.
No, like it is not. I would say unless you're making money, then yeah, I don't think you need to be overtly super good at a video game.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
passion's more important than skill in terms of gaming. You know, I think it's important to like really care about video games and know what's good, at least for your taste, and what to recommend to people if they want to get into the hobby and you want to help kind of ease them into it before they get butt fucked by microtransactions or whatever. But yeah, no, I do think that skill, like I'm pretty good at games generally. But I don't really like brag about being, oh, I kick ass at games, guys. Oh, I'm so good, because that's not really like impressive, you know.
I,
It's video games, you know.
I mean, I like the stories of video games a lot. I like talking about like games in terms of like, well, this is like stuff that's happened in a game.
Yeah,
I care more about like the story behind it. I care about like the devs who make these games. I care about like
yeah.
all the other stuff that like matters. Like
Just
there's
the
so many.
experience of playing. Like whenever I would play through Final Fantasy like 7, 8, and 9 on the PS1 as a kid, I would like be like, ooh, I played through that. I played a good 60 hours on my playthrough. And then one of my friends was like, what do you mean it took you 60 hours to beat that game? Wow, you're really slow at that. You're not very good at that. And I'm like, no, I spent more time enjoying myself and like taking in the atmosphere and the environment and stuff. Like, I think it's good to appreciate a game more so than like, oh, I gotta rush through and get through it fast and brag about my completion time. Like I think speedrunning is kind of cool. It's not for me, but I respect it. I definitely like the spectacle of it when it's done right.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not really gonna be like, oh, I kick ass at this and this is bragging rights and this is part of my identity. Like I don't really care about that. You know.
this is why I'm so apprehensive to the game stream myself, because it's like I'm not the game streamer that I would think people would like to watch. I like to go around, I smash everything, I explore every nook and cranny, I take my time, I like to go anywhere I can and just
Yeah.
explore the full like breadth of this game,
See,
because
I'm a
these
completionist
devs.
too. Yeah.
I'm not really like a trophy hunter or a achievement hunter, but it's just like I like looking around because the devs made this world. They put a bunch of stuff in it. They put
Same.
secrets in there for you to go look into, and like it's like there sometimes you find some like really cool stuff like Far Cry Primal. You get to get like a Blood Dragon reference in there, or you could go to like say recently when I was playing uh, uh Plague Tale Requiem, is like there's a small cave that's hidden away, and you go in it, and it's like they put like cave paintings on the wall of like ancient people. It's like there's a lot of cool things that like these devs like think of and come up with, and they make this world that they put their heart and soul into it, a lot of them. And I want to experience that. I want to see it all and as much as possible. And a lot of people think that's boring and lame, and it is kind of boring and lame if you're not playing the game, but some people like that stuff.
Yeah, I'm more like I'm kind of a completionist, but kind of not. Like I'm not really too big into the oh, I got platinum trophies. Like I mentioned, I only have 2 or 3 platinums, and I've played games like thousands of hours
Yeah.
on like all these different platforms. I don't care about bragging rights or whatever. I care about the experience. I'm passionate about games. I like enjoying them. I would rather like talk about my experience with a certain game, like what was fun about it, what I really loved about it, than, oh, look at my platinum trophies, bros. I got bragging rights. I got proof that I enjoyed myself. Like nah. Sometimes games are really shitty to play like a completionist, and yeah, I don't get the trophies for them a lot. But I'm totally like a completionist when it comes to experiencing everything, like all the side missions, all the secret bosses, all the cool little quests or whatever. I want to beat all of it, you know.
Yeah, and it's like I said, sometimes like the devs then they have to make those trophy and achievement lists. It's like this is fucking lame. This is fucking stupid. I don't want to fucking do this stupid like repetitive side mission all the time
Yep.
just to get this trophy or something. It's like it's stupid. It's dumb. And like my biggest complaint that I've also had with a lot of Sony games is besides writing is there these open bloated worlds.
Oh god, I hate that. The collectathon shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like sometimes these devs need to collect like respect my time. It's like you gotta respect
Exactly.
my time.
I hate that about modern games, especially Ubi shit games, dude. Like, I like, so one of my like junk food games that I like playing that I wouldn't like recommend to other people, that I wouldn't like evangelize or whatever. I like the Far Cry games, at least like 3, 4, and oh, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I like them a lot.
I hate those ones. I hate all of them.
Exactly. They're trash. They're garbage. They're fast food. They're junk. They're collectathon bullshit. But that's like the exception. That's the only one I like. And that's it. That's it. And I would never really like, I almost streamed one of them once, but I'm like, I don't really want to like promote that game because it's like crack or like heroin or something. Like, it's not that I'm addicted to it. It's just, I wouldn't want to put other people on the thing that I like, you know? Like, I want to recommend good games that are like objectively good, that have like artistic merit, that are like worthwhile and shit. But I like Far Cry, especially Far Cry 2. That's Far Cry 2. I actually will say is a game that I can recommend to everyone. It's really good. Don't play it like a completionist. Don't care about all the little gems and diamonds or whatever. That's a great fucking game though. Like the fire effects and the physics and the world simulation. Far Cry 2 is amazing. Unironically, like that's an actually good game. All the ones after
I,
that are just junk, you know.
I'd say the only good Far Cry game is Far Cry Primal. I stand by that statement.
I think that's like the one that I never really got into because I don't like the caveman aesthetic, you know.
I love the caveman aesthetic because I fucking hate the gunplay in every Far Cry game. It feels so bad. It feels so loose. It
I'm
doesn't
not
feel
going to
right.
disagree with a goddamn thing you say on that one. I already said it's garbage. I like it. It's just garbage.
Like
Except for two.
that
Two's good. Two's good.
I just can't get into it. It's just like the games that have only felt good in terms of like gunplay for like a first person shooter, that if I go back and I play the older games from like a different generation today and they still feel good, are Call of Duty and Halo. That's really it. Because a lot of the old first person shooter games, not a lot of that first person shooting, ironically, holds up pretty well.
Did you ever play Killing Floor?
I have not played Killing Floor yet. That's on my list.
Oh, dude. That's another one of those games I was addicted to for the longest time. So Killing Floor 1, I've got like a couple hundred hours in. I got really good at that. I almost only ever play those games solo, even though they're kind of designed more for co-op. And it's way harder on solo with no one watching your back. And I got like really good at them. Normally, I just talked about how I don't like to brag or whatever, but like I'm actually kind of proud of my performance in those games. Like I could put on a really good show in Killing Floor. But Killing Floor is one of those games where the gunplay is so good it ruined other games for me. Destiny was kind of similar, but they're not getting my time ever again. Yeah, I could strongly recommend Killing Floor, dude. Killing Floor 1 and 2. 1 is more like old school, like it's Unreal Engine 2004. It's antiquated, but it's really good. You gotta play Killing Floor 1 sometime. Killing Floor 2 is a lot more modern. It plays a lot better with a controller. I actually prefer that one with a controller to the mouse and keyboard controls, but yeah, no, they're both great. I could strongly recommend them. They're so good. I won't be buying 3 though for the same reason I didn't pick up Unicorn Overlord. Yeah, they fucked up hard, and I kind of don't want to give them money anytime soon. I'll wait till it's in the bargain bin, you know. Feel bad for that Gibson guy. So the one of the founders of Tripwire Interactive, the developers behind Killing Floor, it was something Gibson, John Gibson. John Gibson. He's a good guy. He's like just a good guy. Runs his studio properly. He has his own like metal band that got their own music into his game. They canceled his ass because during the whole Supreme Court abortion thing, he just made a casual statement saying like, "Hey, this doesn't represent the opinions and feelings of my studio. They disagree with me, but I'm personally conservative and I'm anti-abortion." And he got hard canceled by the game industry, and his own company ousted him. It was basically a Papa John's situation. It was so bullshit. So I won't be giving them my money ever again. Tripwire Interactive, but man, I love Killing Floor 1 and 2. Ugh, it was fucked up what they did to John Gibson, man.
Yeah, I like
Good guy.
their. I definitely like their new Maneater. Maneater was a really good game that Tripwire put out as well.
Yeah, I'm so sad, man. Tripwire had so much promise. In fact, when I was younger and I was kind of getting into indie game development a bit, my dream was to have a game published by Tripwire Interactive. Like, I really wanted to like work with them, and then the Gibson thing happened, and I'm not going to trust a company like that ever again. It's why I don't buy Papa John's pizza, man. I kind of like their pizza a bit, but then they went and ousted Papa John's for some bullshit reasons. Basically, did you hear about that situation?
Yeah,
Crisis management. They wanted to be like, oh, what if Papa John said the N word in public? What would we do to mitigate the PR disaster? And during the training thing, they had him say the N word. And they were like, he said the N-word. We got to fire him. We got to cancel him, guys. We got to cancel him because he said the N-word because we told him to say the N-word.
I just don't really give a shit. The guy's like a millionaire.
I don't. Yeah, normally I don't give a shit, but the fact that they would throw their guy under the bus like that, like I can't fucking support a brand like that. I'm really big into the whole. I hate that.
A shit ton of money though,
Well, it's not like I'm gonna simp for some rich guy. Like I'm already having difficulty with my own shit or whatever. But like, it's just the fact they did that to a guy. Like they threw one of their founding guys under the bus under like bullshit circumstances. Like I can't. That can't. Like, what if I started a business and got like thrown under the bus like that? Like that's disgusting. You can't operate your business like that.
Yeah, but he still got stock in the company, and he is fucking a insane person. And
he doesn't seem that crazy. The sweaty thing was
yeah, that's
amusing.
He's just weird. He's just a weirdo. But I look at somebody like him and I go like, oh, it sucks that he's got a golden parachute and he's still rich and he's still gonna make money off of Papa John's. And it's like, what he got kicked out by a company that was just probably looking for a reason to kick him out, Yeah,
it's pretty fucked up.
That's really what it is. That it seems more like the corporation just.
Oh, obviously, yeah, it's obvious that's what happened. They weren't actually fucking offended. They made him say it. It's like if you tell a guy, like you point a gun at him, say the N-word, and he says the N-word, and you're like, oh my feelings. He said the N-word. Fetch me my smelling salts. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
Because I think Papa John's pizza is fucking terrible.
Yeah, they're subpar. I grew up with I don't want to give too much information, but mom was a delivery driver for a pizza place for a long time when I was a kid, and I got to know the various pizza brands. What is it? Little Caesars is garbage, but I like it.
I love Little
Yeah, I
Caesars.
love it, man. It's
It's so
what's
good.
that meme like? Okay, I have to Google it because I gotta say it right. I'm so bad at delivering lines. Little Caesars is good when you. Okay, don't have a. Okay. So the exact line with Little Caesars. Little Caesars taste so good when you don't have a bitch in your ear telling you it's nasty. It's so good. It's good pizza. It's garbage, but I love it.
I feel like Little Caesars got better because they introduced a stuffed crust. That's where I think they really stepped up their
I
game, in
love
my
stuffed
opinion.
crust, man.
I do too. And the problem is Pizza Hut was the only game in town, but Pizza Hut is now priced out of my fucking range of like acceptable pizza norm.
Pizza
I
Hut's
think
greasy. They're so greasy. I don't like
it's
them.
so terrible. No joke. Okay, so not even like even before all this inflation kicked off, uh, like one day I was driving home from work and I was just feeling like I called my wife. I'm like, I'm just gonna get us Pizza Hut. I really want a stuffed crust pizza. So I ordered like two extra large stuffed crust pizzas with like three toppings on them. And the guy was like, "That'll be $60." And I almost
What?
just said, yeah, I'm dead serious. I almost said, fuck it, just keep it, bro."
What
But I
I
said,
do with my pizza is I look for the coupon deals and I get the cheapest shit I can get basically. With was it Domino's? Domino's has some of the best deals. The
yes, they
two
do.
for $6 for the longest time. They're now two for $7, medium two toppings. That's what I get when I want pizza, and if I don't want to just get like a frozen pizza, which I've started liking modern frozen pizzas a lot. I just go for Domino's with the coupon, two medium two topping pizzas. Pig out, man, good shit.
Domino's is my favorite to go to. They have my favorite trash pizza. I get the Philly cheesesteak pizza from Domino's when I'm
I've
feeling
never
like
had a pizza I
all that.
dislike from Domino's. You're not gonna get any
Yeah.
negative judgment from me, man.
I just like their white sauce too. I like their white sauce pizzas
I
the
bet
most.
you do. Bet you
Yeah, I
love
know.
that
It's
white
I
sauce.
got
No,
it. But
it's good sauce, dude. It's what is it called again? Alfredo sauce.
yeah, their Alfredo
I
sauce is
love all, dude.
really
I love
good.
what I like to do is I like to get the spinach Alfredo pizza with like last time I had it, I think I had onions on it. It was really fucking good. My favorite of their toppings is the meats is salami. They've got really good salami. It's not as good as prosciutto, which is like my favorite meat pizza topping, but Domino's salami is pretty good. I like it.
For if
It's
I'm
good
gonna
shit.
eat a pizza out here because I live in Illinois, I like to get either a Lou Malnati's because I like a deep dish.
Illuminati's? What? I gotta
Yeah.
Google that. So Illinois Illuminati pizza. How did
No,
you
Lou
spell it?
Malnati's.
Oh, I thought it was like Illuminati, but spelled
No,
weird. Lou
no,
Malnati. Yeah, Lou Malnati.
Lou
Okay.
Malnati's. Yeah,
That's funny. Chicago.
yeah.
I'm not a big deep dish guy, but it's probably just because I've never had good deep dish pizza. Thing with me is I love food. I'm not a fat ass, but I like food, and I'm willing to try a lot of foods. My only limitations are I don't eat brain, I don't eat eyeball, I don't eat bugs. Basically, beyond that, I'll try close to anything.
I could see that a little bit there too. I mean, I don't think I would want to eat a brain. There's like some parts of the animal that I'm just like I can't do. I don't do intestines either. That's another thing. I won't eat chitlins.
Yeah, I'm willing if it smells good and looks appetizing or whatever, but I had chitlins and it was one of the most disgusting things I've had in my life. I nibbled
I
on a
know.
piece of it. It just tasted like intestines. It smelled like intestines. It tasted like intestines, like what you would expect them to taste like. I was like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not eating that shit. This is awful. Like I was willing to give it a try. It was like cooked by a black guy, so I was like, he probably knows his chitlins, but it was bad. He didn't know his chitlins.
I just can't do it. It's like Fernando, if he's still watching, his mom introduced me to tripe and tongue tacos.
I like tripe. I don't tongue tacos sound weird, but I'd be willing to try them.
Tongue is great, by the way. I like
Yeah.
it. I don't get it as often.
Oh, you poor
Especially,
thing. You gotta push your wife, bro.
yeah, I know what you're doing.
Give more tongue.
But I being serious all in all
Yeah,
here.
I'm sorry. I'm a little goober.
No, you're fine. It's I actually get it for lunch because we get food from a Mexican place every now and then. And the only problem is like I want to cook it, but it's such an effort to cook like chitlins. It's an effort to cook tripe. It's an effort to cook tongue
Wait, have
because
you had good chitlins before?
I never had them.
Okay, good. Don't eat that shit. It's awful. It's so fucking.
But it's like a process to do it. Like you really have to clean them out,
He
and it's just
spent like hours cooking that shit, and it was awful.
yeah.
He's like, yeah, man, I'm following my grandma's recipe, and then he made it. He's made other good foods before, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna trust your culinary skills here. And they were so bad. It's one of the top like 5 worst foods I've ever had. I had really bad Brussels sprouts once when I was a kid, and I assumed Brussels sprouts were bad. And then I got older, and I was like, I'm seeing some like recipes online for Brussels sprouts that sound pretty good, and then I cook them and they're great. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why were they so bad when I had them when I was a kid? They're so good when I cooked them. Maybe if I made chitlins, they'd be good, you know?
Well, it's because your taste buds also change as you get older as
Well, it's
well.
also because I cooked them properly, damn it. I knew my shit. I cook really well. I cook anything I cook, I generally get it right first time really, really well. Like, no problems. I just follow the instructions and do it. Like, it's so easy. Like, why is cooking so hard for some people?
Because it's people don't want to put in the effort, or they're just stupid. That's
Yeah.
another thing.
Well, I grew up poor, very poor, and wasted food is the devil. So if I'm
Oh,
gonna cook
I'm
something, I'm
with
gonna
you on
cook it
that one.
right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I hate wasting food too because we grew up poor as well.
Yeah. I remember
You know.
eating bread balls, like you would just get white bread and ball it up and eat it, and that was the meal, and it was awful, and I wanted to die. Thankfully, I'm an adult now, and I could cook myself like steaks, nice ramen, whatever the hell I want. It's great. Being an adult's awesome, dude. Fuck being a kid. Yeah, but you don't have any responsibilities, but your parents do all your stuff for you. Exactly. I'd rather do it all myself. I do it right, you know?
Yeah. I know what I like. They don't know what I like because they're my parents. They project their feelings onto me.
Well, my mom knows what I like, and dad kind of knows what I like. Like they have a good understanding of my taste. Like sometimes mom will surprise me with something. Like she wanted to go take me to see The Incredibles when it was in theaters, and I was like, ew, it's like a Disney superhero. Why would I want to watch that? And then we went and saw it, and I was like, oh my god, that's like one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Like that was really good. Mom wanted
Yeah.
to go take me to go see this kids movie called Arrietty. It's based on The Borrowers, and I was like, that sounds gay. I don't want to watch that. And then after it left theaters, I found out it was a fucking Hayao Miyazaki Studio Ghibli movie, and I'm like, oh my god, it's been on my bucket list to watch a new Hayao Miyazaki movie while it's in theaters and new, and I missed out on it because I didn't trust mom's opinion of my taste. Oh my god. Fuck.
Well, they have been doing a Studio Ghibli fest, though. A lot of those movies have been
Yeah.
making rounds again in theaters.
Well, at this point in time, that's anything theater related is off of my bucket list. I've got a nice projector at home. I've got a really nice like 4K TV. I've got all this nice audio equipment and stuff. My shit's better than a theater in most cases. Like I'm not really I don't really care about film either all that much anymore. Like I video games. I could be happy never watching a movie ever again, you know?
Let's go to theaters now to just get out of the house and like watch like an anime movie. Like my wife and I went to see the Spy Family movie a couple weeks ago. And that's basically all we do is go to theaters now to watch like the anime movies that are coming out. Like,
Oh, Spy. Okay, yeah. When you said Spy Family, I was like, what is that? Like a Spy Kids movie that I haven't heard about? Yes. I think they usually say it's like Spy X Family or something, right? Is that how they
I
say
don't
it?
say, I don't say the X. If someone does that,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
kind of
punch that
cringe. I
person in
know.
the face and call them a fucking loser.
I can hear you almost saying the F slur. Very, very, very
I
nice of
came
you to
close.
hold off.
I came close. I
Yeah,
wanted to.
I knew you were gonna. Thanks.
I had my one slip up already, so I used my charm.
Yeah, it's cool. I disavow or like whatever, you know. You gotta tell me that story off stream or whatever later.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. After we wrap up, I can do that with
well,
you.
well, I'm probably streaming some kind of retro game after we're done, but I'm enjoying this conversation, bro. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Good
it's
touch
pretty
base
fun.
or whatever.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about you.
We didn't talk enough about like controllers and like other retro games we're playing. We started talking about retro games we're playing, and then we went on tangents about RPGs, which turned into tangents about other stuff. You know,
Listen, man, you're like a wild stallion. I can't stop you. Just keep going. That's what I'm
it's
saying.
cool. Yeah,
You're controlling this conversation. I'm just along for the ride.
yeah. Well, it's cool. Um,
Like I don't want to like step on you. It's like be you. The whole thing about this series that I like to do is I want people to come on and just be themselves, and that does not require me to constantly just step up and be like, oh, we gotta stop it, go back to this thing. It's just like no, just
Well,
And that's
sometimes it's good to have a tard wrangler for certain topics. Like I do get pretty like spurgy, you know. So hey, I don't mind you being like, hey, we got to talk about this thing, bro. I'm really
I mean,
interested in this, you know.
it's a two-person conversation. If there was more people involved, yeah, I'd probably be a little bit more,
Yeah.
I'd be more involved. That's what I say. But it's just two people talking. It's like it's easier to like have a conversation where some person is just like being passionate and going off and just like letting himself be free. But if
Hmm.
there was like if we had like another person here, yeah, I would definitely have to like be like, all right, we gotta get back on track. But no, no, this whole thing that I'm doing right now is not about me because I'm if I wanted to make it about me, you wouldn't be here right now, you
It's
know?
not about you, Carl.
Yeah, and the thing is about the series is like I want to spotlight people I find interesting that I find fun and just let other people see them in I guess another atmosphere in a place where maybe they aren't themselves. Like some people who are entertainers on their channel or something, they have a persona that's a little bit different, and then they come on here and they'll like be a little bit loose. They'll be more like interested in people like talking about them, you know. So like that's why I brought you on. You're here and I want to hear what you have to say. And you're talking about all this stuff that I'm going to have to sit down and look at off stream. You know what I mean? Because it's like there's no way I could do this right here because it's like these emulators, these patches, all this other shit. It's like you're sending me all these links and it's like holy shit, there's so much I got to unpack here. And a bunch of people in the audience might be looking into this stuff too as well, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, no, don't worry, man. You know, you can't stop a train and just like enjoy the ride. And if I really feel like I need to hop in and stop you, then yeah.
Well, is there anything that we started talking about that we went too much tangent about that you want to revisit, like the retro games that we're playing thing, for instance? I kind of want to go over that.
Then yeah, just go over that then, man. Let's go.
What about
What
you,
else you
bro?
want?
You first.
Uh, so, I guess like one of the retro games too that I've been playing. One of my other guests that was on Nerdy Neo, and I know he'll probably listen to this later, so I gotta say this again. Nerdy Neo, that bastard, got me playing Crackdown again from a conversation that we were having, and I actually beat Crackdown 1 not too long ago, and I started Crackdown 2 recently because I never
Cool.
played Crackdown 2.
I heard two was the peak of that one, and then three was, I guess, kind of seen as like a little bit of a shit show that people still kind of liked. I don't know.
The Crackdown games is that they're kind of like if you liked the Hulk Ultimate Destruction, or
Yeah.
if you liked not Infamous, the Activision one, Prototype. That's it, Prototype. If you like those like power trip, open world, just smash and turn your brain off kind of games, like you're not here for the story, that's what they are. They're definitely more of like just a loose checkpoint, just power fantasy type games. And the first one, I think, is still probably the best. I've never played three, and number two is like it was a new dev, and I see what they were doing with the story. But I think a lot of people forgot what the story was in Crackdown 1, so they just go like, it's the zombie game. And it's like, well, it actually sticks to lore pretty well, and it's kind of interesting. But the problem is like these games aren't winning awards for a reason.
Yeah. There isn't enough Abby getting fucked in the ass or whatever. Journalists, the only way to like succeed in their eyes is to basically push weird shit that they like or pander to their particular tastes. Like
I,
a lot of non-gamers are being the taste makers in the industry right now. People who failed to work for New York Slimes or the Washington Compost, so they end up going and being like a Kotaku writer or whatever, and they don't fucking know anything about video games. They don't know what's good, but you know that you have to pander to those people to have like a critical hit. So now we've got games like Baldur's Gate 3, I guess, that seem to be like flipping the bird to that shit. And they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna make a really good hardcore RPG that appeals to a huge chunk of the audience. We're not gonna rape them in the ass with microtransactions. I think that's the future. Like the whole like forget about the tastemakers, make something that the consumers want and don't rape them in the ass in value, you know?
I mean, I guess, but the same people that you just mocked it gave it nothing but the most awards in game history. You know,
What game?
Baldur's Gate
Actually,
3.
yeah, that's a good point. That was the single worst possible example I could have given it, wasn't it? That's pretty
Well,
funny. It is a good example of the kind of game that's just like, fuck the urinalists, we'll make something that people love. And then it's specifically like the single most award. That's hilarious. That was a really bad example. I was just like, what's a game people like lately that the I don't know. Let's throw out that one.
I say that like when you look at the game industry, you also got to understand like when people sometimes do reviews, it's like it's easy to dunk on the Kotakus and everything else, but like look at how many other FromSoft games are universally like panned as like amazing. Like Sekiro won a bunch of Game of the Year awards, Elden Ring won a lot of Game of the Year awards, Dark Souls is like usually gets high review scores and
Yeah.
is critically acclaimed. So I tend to go by the motto of like, yeah, it's easy to mock these losers that work at like Kotaku or something, but at the end of the day, more often than not, like the best game usually will rise to the top and get awards. And sometimes that best game is a game that you don't like for whatever reason. And at the end of the day, who fucking cares? Because they're award ceremonies and they're all lame and bogus anyway.
Yeah.
It's like I don't watch the Oscars because like the best movie of the years I'll watch are like a shitty action flick, and I know that it's not going to win an award. But at the same time, if I go out and I'm playing a game and I'm like, this is my game of the year, like right now for me, Unicorn Overlord is my game of the year right now. Is that going to get nominated for awards and win anything? Most likely not. I'm going to be honest. It probably won't. But at the same time, it's like, is it gonna? Maybe there's another game that I like that got nominated, and I'll be like, well, hey, I'm happy that like people are noticing it. Like for example, last year I was very bummed that Hi-Fi Rush did not get a lot of recognition for like Game of the Year, but I still love that a lot of people in the industry were giving it like some respect for like sound design and stuff like that too.
Yeah. It's so cool that they murder the studio right after they put out like this critical hit that everyone loved. All the fans are like, "Yo, Hi-Fi Rush is really good. This is like the one good thing Xbox has done in like 2 years." And then they kill the fucking studio. Like, really? Really? Oh, I hate that. No, I
Funny about
really
that though.
I think that
And
that's like one of the best studios that Microsoft had under their belt. Like, yeah, The Evil Within was a little jank and it could have used some work, but there was something there. I think that that studio could have been like really, really big if they just gave them the proper support they needed.
that's the problem. Because I adore Tango. I love Evil Within. I loved
Yeah.
Ghostwire Tokyo. Like I absolutely liked it a lot. And Hi-Fi Rush was my game of the year. I praised the shit out of that game. I bought it, multiple times for a couple other people too. But the problem is, and this is where the free market comes in sometimes too, is not enough people like played it enough. Nobody bought it on PlayStation 5 and and no one, and let's face it, nobody bought Ghostwire Tokyo either on the PlayStation 5. That's why,
Exactly.
and and this was clearly a bean counter move. It
Dude,
feels
I
like,
like Deathloop a lot, man.
yeah, and they closed half of Austin, but they didn't close the team that made Deathloop. They
Yep.
closed I
Thank
mean,
God. Arcane
yeah,
Leon, I think it was, like
yeah,
Lyon, however you pronounce that. That's the
yeah,
studio that made Deathloop, and thankfully they're still around, thank God. Cause
yeah,
holy shit. Like, okay, black protagonist, black female deuteragonist or whatever, who's also just like a semi-antagonist kind of thing. It's got
yeah.
like this weird like 60s vibe. I just thought this is probably gonna be garbage. It's it's by this studio that keeps putting out games that I don't really particularly care for. And then it comes out, and I'm like looking into all the reviews and stuff, and people are like, yeah, no, there's like no garbage, there's no like wokeness, it's just a good game. And I'm like, okay, I'm apprehensive, but I'll give it a try. So I got it, and yeah, no, it's great. I totally vouch for that game.
I
Deathloop
I,
is one of the best AAA games I've played this gen so far.
I want to get into it.
It's good.
It just takes so time because like you too, uh, you, and I got into I yelled at a games journalist online because they were like, I can't believe they closed Arcane Austin after one mistake, and I was like, all right, and I was
Redfall is
yeah,
a
and I was
big
like,
fucking mistake.
I was like, oh, what about Redfall? What about Prey? No one fucking played Prey either. All right, it wasn't one mistake. It was they made games that were middling, and no one bought them. And the reality is that their last game was dog shit because no one wanted to make it because ZeniMax forced these studios into making garbage games because they wanted money, and then Microsoft bought them, and they're the ones that fucking closed down a fucking dying studio that was just held together by duct tape at that point.
Isn't Prey not Arcane Austin? I thought that was like the main Arcane Studios
No,
team.
Prey is Austin.
Oh, okay. That sucks for my Links bro viewer. He loved Prey personally, in his case. I
Yeah, I
thought
fucking hate
it
Prey.
didn't click for me. I gave it a few attempts and I really wanted to get into it. It just never clicked for me. I didn't hate
Yeah,
it though.
I don't mind Arcane like
I hated
entity as a
Dishonored.
studio.
I wanted to
I
love
did
it.
too.
I wanted to love it. I really wanted to love it. I didn't like it at all.
But like I say to all the people, I'm like I hope these games find an audience if it's not for me, unless I really think it's a
Hmm.
scam, you know. But like none of these games that I've like we've been talking about really have been like scams. It's just like either they weren't for me or they were just bad, and like but that's
Fucking
for me
Star
personally.
Citizen.
Yeah.
Spend $40,000 and you get to unlock the higher priced microtransactions options. What the
I
hell? That's how Ferrari
I
does it. You gotta buy like a shittier car to be able to get an invitation to buy the really nice car. It's like what?
mm-hmm.
Just let people drop like 5 million on your nicest shit or whatever. What the hell? Like you shouldn't have to buy multiple cars to get the car you want. That's stupid.
Right. And my big thing is like Tuesday I was just like bummed because it's like fuck, I really like Tango, and it's just is like one of those days where it's just like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to cope. I understand the reality, and I say I don't. I the only thing I could think of Tango was just a bean counter move. It's they have their hit and they just didn't want to invest in it.
Fucking
You know?
bean counters, man. And
Yeah.
that's funny because they've got worse studios that definitely could have been shuttered earlier. You know, like Tango wasn't the one. I think they really should have been less bean countery about that one, dude. Same with Japan Studio. Why the hell did Sony kill Japan Studio? That was their
That's
best studio, dude.
that's what I feel
Oh,
too. I said this, and I'm happy you said that. But like when people were like into like were talking with me online, like this feels like when Sony closed Studio Japan. It's just
yeah,
like
Alan, Studio Japan was way worse. That was a way worse closure. But like Tango's still really up there, you know?
well, it just feels like Tango was like finally starting to like go back up on the upswing. You know, for me personally, I like Ghostwire Tokyo. I really did. I was so excited. I've said there's videos of me talking about like the leaked future plans that were leaked for ZeniMax and Bethesda, and they were talking about like a Ghostwire Tokyo sequel, and I was just like, oh man, that could be cool if they got like a bigger budget and everything. And it's just like I would say like these last like 4 years in gaming, while I'm not like as black pilled as some people on it. Like I've had a lot of fun and I found like a lot of great games. I'm at this point now. It's like the one thing that video games for me right now, speculation is dead. There's no fun in speculating anything anymore because the economy is so fucked, and these industries have to like lay off so many people because they overspent on COVID. These budgets are out of control,
Yeah.
and
We've
it's
seen a
just like
bubble burst in several industries, like big tech, kind of. There was a huge
yeah.
bubble burst in tech.
Yeah, so right now I think like for me, I don't want to speculate anymore about the futures of anything. I am done speculating, even as like a conversation thing, because it's like I don't want to have fun with that anymore because the industry right now is changing so rapidly. I think it's better just to live in the here and now and see what comes out that's good, what comes out that's still worth it, and just go with that. You know, if hopefully that if something comes out and I really like it, I hope it survives and gets a sequel and they greenlit it and it's better. But beyond that, it's like I just don't want to hope and pray anymore because you know like Tango is like the one studio that like really made me excited because like I really want something with Ghostwire. I really want Hi-Fi Rush to continue and everything else.
Ghostwire was a victim of bad localization. You probably know about the commie thing, right?
No, I don't
Oh
because I didn't
man,
notice
I had a
anything.
roller coaster situation with Ghostwire where I was really interested, and then the localizers ruined it with one line, and then they recently patched it out, so I'm planning on getting it again. So they changed the line. It was some completely unrelated thing in the actual Japanese script, but for some fucking reason, the localizers changed this line to like all property is theft. It's like what?
I don't remember that line in there.
They straight up turned him into an actual communist, spouting actual communist stuff. It was just some guy that I guess the main character interacts with or something. And then they patched it to be the actual line that he says in Japanese, and they fixed the game. So I'm planning on getting it at some point. But yeah, bargain bin. Everything's in the bargain bin, basically. That's
well,
my default.
well, Ghostwire Tokyo has been given away for free, and it's like $15 on everything. You don't worry,
Yeah.
Amazon and Epic were giving Ghostwire Tokyo away, for
Oh
free.
shit, I missed out on that, I guess. I don't really have like an Amazon Prime sub that I keep up all the time. I think I'm in like a demo stage or something right now. And I don't do Epic Game Store. Like I just don't even want to install that thing on my PC. I'd rather just not get games for free than install it personally. I'm all for competition. I do think Steam needs to get a knock down a peg or two, but not by Epic. No, I don't like Epic.
Well,
Good old games is my default. If anything's on good old games and Steam, I will always try to get it on the good old games. You know.
like GOG too. I've been using it more only because I think their retro selection is better than Steam.
I like that it's DRM free. You could burn that shit to a disc, give it to a friend. I'm like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
It's your game. You own it. True ownership. That's like owning a copy of like a physical copy of the game. You know, like if you buy a PC game and it's on GOG and Steam, and you're choosing it on Steam instead, you're doing it wrong in my book. You know, like very few exceptions. One exception being East 8, no, East 9 Monstrum Nox, the newest one. It uses that Steam local play thing through the cloud to where you could have co-op. You buy a copy of East 9, your friend just like remotes in on his account on Steam. He could use a controller, play East with you co-op locally on your computer. He's just connecting through like the cloud, and that's awesome as shit. I own all the
Yeah.
East games except for 9 on good old games. I'm probably gonna buy it on Steam next time it's on sale for below 36. I already own it on Switch. So hey, wait, you're an East guy, right? You mentioned East earlier. Which East games have you played?
I have not gotten into Ys
Oh,
yet.
dude, I dabbled in it. I almost beat Memories of Salsetta, the Switch and the good old games version of the Switch one.
Yeah.
Uh it's good. Good shit, dude. Actually, that's right. And when I was in my collector phase, I bought a physical copy of Memories of Salsetta for the Vita. So I've got a cartridge of that one.
Working into it. I bought all the ones on Steam when they were on sale for like $3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I bought all the Steam ones there, so I have them downloaded on my Steam Deck. I have a sealed copy of E7 for the PSP, the collector's edition that I got from one of my retro huntings, because a shop up north by me was doing a buy two get one free sale on everything in their store, and I had $1,000 in credit, so I just like went really ham into a lot of
Wow.
that stuff.
I did something like that with GameStop where they were doing it was like buy two, get two free or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
And I just bought like a couple hundred 360 PS3 Wii U Switch there's just tons of games. I bought some PS1 games they somehow had, PS2 games they somehow I just bought like a ton of games. This was like 2018, 19, 2020 somewhere in that range. Tons. I just bought a shitload. It was awesome. Oh, it was
yeah.
great.
I took advantage a little bit of that too. I was like, I think that was like 2020 as well when they were doing a big sale like
That might
that.
have been the exact same sale. Yeah, I just bought a
Yeah.
shitload, dude. So many games. There were a few PS3 and 360 games that I wanted to collect that I didn't get. Lollipop Chainsaw, really wanted a copy of that, didn't get one. There was another one. It was it's on the tip of my tongue. Okay, Axis Acquire, which studio? Um, keep almost okay. PS3 game. Okay, PS3 JRPG. Here we go. Here we go. It's called Fuck, not the guided fate paradox. God damn it, Google. Fuck you, Google. You're the devil. Okay. Basically it had really good art style and that's right. I've got the PS Vita dungeon crawler thing right behind me. So there's this game, The Lost Child. Okay, yeah. I've got the game. The Lost Child is a Vita first-person dungeon crawler spin-off. Sorry, I gotta tell you about this game because it's really goddamn cool. Um, and it's definitely something that should be on more people's radar. It looks really cool. There we go. El Shaddai Ascension of the Metatron. That's a PS3 hack and slash kind of RPG game that looks really goddamn cool. The art style is amazing. It seems like the music's kind of cool. It's like,
Oh yeah, they just
yeah.
remastered that for the Switch
Oh
recently.
shit. Okay, I missed
That's
out on that. I wonder if I can get a physical
yeah,
copy at a good price. Well, that's one
yeah.
of those games I really wanted to get that I didn't get. And if I could just get a Switch copy, holy shit, that's
Yeah, it's
awesome.
also it's also on the Xbox 360 too. The El Shaddad.
El Shaddai.
Yeah, El Shaddai. Yeah, I know what game you're talking about now that you said that. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that looks like a fun. It's like also is it like more like a Devil May Cry kind of
Yeah.
combat? Yeah,
It
I know.
looks really damn cool. I really want to stream that sometime, dude. That looks really freaking awesome. Yeah, no, that's cool. So yeah, no, the El Shaddai, Lollipop Chainsaw. What are some other games? I think there were some Suda 51 games I really wanted. Dude, have you ever gotten into the Suda 51 games?
Oh yeah, I love his work. I got
Holy
all
shit,
the.
yeah, dude.
I got Lollipop Chainsaw. I got fucking
How about No
just
More
like
Heroes?
oh, I love No More Heroes.
Travis Touchdown is my spirit animal, dude.
What else was his other ones that he made too?
He
Killer
made
is
Killer
Dead.
7.
Killer is Dead is my favorite one of his ones. I love that game to death.
I've been wanting to play that for the longest time. I've got it on
Yeah,
PC and 360 through like Xbox, the Series X playable version.
the
I will be
Series
playing
X
it on
is great
console.
for it. It's
Yeah.
great, especially with the HDR, the auto HDR. It looks like a fucking Xbox One game
Auto
now.
HDR is pretty freaking cool.
Oh yeah, I
Dude,
love playing that.
Shadows of the Damned. So I've got that on 360 and on the Series X. So on the 360, I guess I'd never really owned a 360. I skipped that basically and went straight to the One S at the end of the life cycle of that console, and then the Series X. And I got a lot of games for it afterwards. But Shadows of the Damned. Have you played that Suda 51 game?
No, that's on my list too.
Dude, you gotta bump that shit up. That's one of his best games. It is so fucking good. Especially, it's such a breath of fresh air for like versus modern games. There's so many things in that game they would never try. It's
Remastering
so
it too.
great. Oh, it better
I
be
know that they're gonna do
accurate.
it.
They're remastering that and Lollipop Chainsaw, and I don't expect them to do them justice just because they're so like edgy and cool. You know, they're not
Suda's
allowed to be
saying that
edgy
they're
or
not
cool
going to
these
be messed
days.
with. That's what he's
They
saying.
said that, but I'll have to wait and see, you know, wait and see and then wait 6 months after the release or whatever. That's my kind of rule of thumb, you know?
But yeah, no, like I like Suda a lot. The Silver's Case is another game that he was
Visual
like his
novel.
first
Yeah,
one.
they had a few of
Yeah,
those. I own them on good old games, but I never booted them up.
I know that they did. Like I own it on the Switch because I'm like this feels like just the perfect type of Switch
Yep.
game, you know?
Visual novels on Switch are great, man.
Yeah, and I like Killer 7. That's such a unique and interesting game too. I like Suda a lot more. I consider him the better Kojima for Japan.
Same. Same. Kojima's a hack. I love a lot of his
Yeah.
games, but goddamn, I found out after the fact a lot of the shit that he takes credit for was like totally like the people who wrote Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, like the actual writers do a better job than Suda or than Hideo Kojima. Death Stranding was the single most disappointing game of the past console generation for me. That was awful. That game was awful. It was so bad.
I
Oh,
will
I
say this.
hate Death Stranding.
I'll say this as well. Um, Death Stranding is in the top 3 of games I feel like actually scammed me.
Same. So bad. I bought it at launch. I was so hyped. I was so hyped. And then I started playing it and I was like, oh no, it actually is a package delivery simulator. What the fuck? Like, that's
Yeah,
not what I expected. I expected a good game from Hideo Kojima. I expected like some kind of Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hills kind of shit. And we got Death Stranding instead. It's so bad.
the collector's edition too, and I sold everything from that game. I was just like, I'm done. I can't.
It was
I can't.
so bad.
I mean, I own a copy for the PS5 because it was like $10, and I
Your
said, "Fuck it."
Princess Beach. Like, ugh, ugh, ugh. It's so
Well,
bad.
Nothing's more cringe than watching Norman Reedus drink monsters. That
I
that I was
I
just like,
spent
ugh.
30 or 40 hours trying to enjoy that game, dude. I was like, surely it's gonna get good. I love Metal Gear Solid so much. Surely I can derive some pleasure from this game. And to play that game optimally, you have to drink several monsters every time you go back to base. And you go back to base like every half hour or so. So I probably spent a couple hours watching Norman Reedus drink monsters in my life.
I said that I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, this is so lame. I
Speaking
don't
of, I've had a
enjoy
monster in my freezer for almost 3 hours now.
it. Well, we're almost about done. We can start wrapping this up if you.
Oh, so you don't want to talk to me anymore, huh? Is that how it is? You don't want
Let's
to hang
hitting.
out with me anymore, huh? Am I not cool enough for you?
No, it's hitting the 3 hour mark. I
I'm
usually
teasing,
just
dude.
let
I'm
it go.
teasing. It's cool.
No, I had a really busy day. Besides all the stick stuff, I've been like running around. I had to run to Costco today, do some shopping, and
Yeah, I worked a shift. I know how you
yeah,
feel.
I know. It's like Saturday, you know. It's just kind of like now it's like the time where I'm getting to be like, okay, so from now until probably 2, 3 in the morning, I'm just gonna probably be playing Pokemon Coliseum because I want to beat it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I fell off at
I
Diamond and Pearl. I like Diamond a lot, and I didn't play anything after that. That was me in Pokemon. A lot of people have a fall off point. It all seems fine. I don't know, the
I mean,
Gigamaxing or whatever. That was the fallout point for me.
that Gigantamaxing was not fun.
That
I
shit's
agree with you
gay.
on that one.
What
I
is this Digimon now? Like it's like derivative of the derivatives now. Like what? Why are they doing this? It's
I
so
mean,
dumb.
I loved megas. Mega evolutions were great. I thought it was a cool concept and it added a lot to battling. Terra typing is fucking amazing. I absolutely love Terra typing because
See,
watching
that's
VGC
past
chat.
my time. I dropped off at Diamond. I don't know what that shit is.
It's the new mechanic in Sapphire. I mean not Sapphire, Scarlet and Violet. And basically, you can terastallize is what it's called, and your Pokemon will change their actual typing. So instead of like your ghost type being a ghost type, it could just be a fire type now. And you can have so many different strategies for like
Hmm.
Pokemon that were like once weak to a certain thing, you can have them change and change their weakness to have different abilities.
It seems like it kind of breaks the central mechanics in a weird way.
It adds a lot of like thinking to it because you can only do it once. That's also another thing. So it all depends on like you can find like different viabilities for Pokemon that can get new life and so on and so forth like that. If you want to get back into Pokemon,
Nah.
uh, I was gonna say and not play a mainline game, Pokemon Arceus is like a nice, like
Yeah, I
relaxing
hear
type of
that a
game.
lot. Like Arceus seems to be the best Pokemon game released in the past like decade or something.
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah,
I'll consider getting it when I get a Super Switch and can run it better.
yeah, that's another thing too. The only problem was performance,
Yeah. I can't
but
wait
this
to get the Super Switch and play Crisis 1 through 3 on it. I've actually got those games on Switch. They
fucking insane that you have those games on Switch.
were pretty cheap. Like I think I got the trilogy for like 20 something bucks. It was like 24, I feel like. And I was like, dude, Crisis trilogy on the Switch? Yeah, and then I got it. And then they're actually pretty good.
Okay.
Does it play Crisis? Yes, it does. It's like 720p 30 FPS unstable. You wouldn't like it, but you would like playing those on the Super Switch when it's a rock solid frame rate. Probably. I don't know. I feel like they
Well,
might end up doing that. So there's DLSS is the upscaling to make lower resolution games, like higher resolutions essentially. I think they're also going to do a lot of, I think what they're going to do is any games that were like 720p or 920p or 900p or whatever, they're probably going to get just automatic DLSS on the Super Switch, most likely. And I think they might pull off some kind of, what was that frame generation? There was some other thing they were doing where they generated frames where none existed, basically. So I think a lot of the 30 FPS games on the Switch are probably going to get like 60 FPS modes on the Super Switch, but that's speculation, which you don't like. So
that stuff is a little different, like in terms of
yeah,
like hardware and
yeah,
stuff.
hardware
Like,
speculation's fun. I love that shit,
yeah,
dude.
that's a little different. Like I'm talking about like game stuff.
Yeah, so well, so
Like,
far, if you want to get a good idea of what the Super Switch is going to be like, 8-inch screen, 1080p, much bigger system, 12 gigs of RAM, ARM processor, NVIDIA GPU, obviously.
very interesting indeed.
I wish they went
I
with
can't
16
wait.
gigs of RAM. I think it's going to be $400 at launch. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, what's going on around here? Something's wrong with my mouse. It's being weird.
Hmm.
I thought someone hacked my computer for a second. I'm like, what's going on?
Oh God, I've had something like that a few times.
I
Where I
got
thought
very
I
scared
was.
for a minute. But I guess it's getting close to it. So,
Yeah.
just for my audience sake, since you're going to continue streaming, I guess could you give these people a little bit more of a last second thing where to find you on your socials, what your stream schedule is, so on and
Hmm.
so forth?
Yeah. Well, that's another whole thing we could have gone on a giant like 30-minute tangent on, but we'll avoid that. Currently, I'm streaming exclusively on Twitch. I know, but it's treated me the best of all the streaming platforms, and it's kind of the most. It's the easiest to just get into streaming. No dealing with search engine optimization bullshit. No having to create a thumbnail. None of that. You just set your category and go live. It's amazing. So I recently, very recently, switched over to being a Twitch exclusive streamer. I do have a YouTube where I post stream highlights, and I'll be posting my VODs and stuff. I gotta post a couple VODs tonight before I go to bed, but yeah, mainly just a Twitch streamer. I go by I should probably change this, but it's Nick Starling CH, which is like a shortening of channel. Oh, it's another thing we didn't talk about. My hatred of VTubers and how I was almost a VTuber in 2012 before that was even a thing. Ah, we didn't even go over that whole thing. I'm ashamed. People are gonna think I'm an actual VTuber or something.
Well, there's always next time.
Yeah,
We
well,
got
it's
plenty of
definitely
fun
if you're
stuff.
down for having it next time, I would love to definitely have more streams like this because this is a lot of fun. I liked it. This is the first stream I've done where we're just talking. I always have like gameplay and shit going in the background when I stream. You know?
No, without a doubt. Like, there's a lot of people I got lined up still. I just got to figure out something with you to some time. You know, just like last time. It's like, well, originally I had this a different time for you. Actually, it was June, and then
Yeah,
something opened up because somebody moved out, and I'm like, oh well, I owed you this one from because this was supposed to happen a long time ago,
yeah.
and then just everything that happened with JM and Fernando going their separate ways. Nothing bad too. I'm not trying to
It was
disparage.
drama. He's trying to pretend there's no drama.
There's no drama at
There's
all.
drama.
There's no drama at all. JM literally came up and visited us physically in real life to hang out with us.
He
There's
keyed your cars, didn't he? I bet
yeah,
he egged your house.
he did. He stayed in my house and he beat my dog. There you go.
I knew it. No, that's cool.
No, but like I say, it's like some people ask about that. No, there was never any drama. It's just personal differences in real life with Fernando wanting to focus more on his stuff only because he didn't really understand the video game news, and as most people have known, JM just stopped streaming in general. So a lot of reflection. That's what I would say that came from this. A lot of like, did I want to do this my solo? I was having a lot of fun with them, and then it took a little bit to kind of learn how to do all this stuff, and eventually I just started doing it on my own, and I've enjoyed it. I've loved it ever since. I've learned so much about different video games in my life that I never expected. Met so many cool and interesting people that I honestly never thought I would, ever meet, and I got to interview like two of my favorite YouTubers just recently, with Fertenga Plays and Styx and
Yeah, I
Hammer.
saw
That,
Fratanga and I was like, holy shit, dude, good timing on that one. Yeah, it's cool.
yeah. I
Fratanga
mean,
and Styx were pretty big, yeah.
yeah, and I enjoy those guys' content a lot, and I really liked Fertanga's interview because he really opened up a lot with me and talked to me about a lot of things, and I hope I'm able to get him back on later with his producer Mole and just like have like a shit posting stream, and Styx, that even though the interview was short, it's like I really appreciated that a lot. Like, I was so blown away that he loved Ogre Battle 64 as much as he did.
It's another series I love. Yes. I talked about that earlier. Yasumi Matsuna, the writer of Final Fantasy Tactics, he also did the Ogre Battle games. He's the guy. He's the Evilis guy. Oh my god. If we do another stream, we gotta like nix the hardware talk and shit. Just talk about like just games, which different franchises, different creators. Oh, it's so good.
I'm not gonna lie about this, Nick. I want to do like a top JRPG stream, and I think that I want to have like you on. I want to have JT because JT he's a huge JRPG guy,
Give me some prep
and like
time on that one because I would have like a gigantic document of like this
uh,
JRPG is better for this element and this one's better for this element and this and this and this and this and I like a level
well,
5 JRPGs and if you're into this, this is better. Ah, I love it.
I'll work out a time with you because right now, like I said, I'm changing up my format to be like Friday and Saturdays are like the talk shows. I might do twice a week shows, and then Sunday will be just for game streaming because I'm really like committed to trying to do this stuff now. But right now, it will definitely be. I have so many people lined up now. Like I'm booked till July 1st. That's how I know that. Like there's so many times like I have to keep looking at my list and then sometimes I'll forget someone and I'll be like, fuck, I double booked this, so I have to message someone and be like, hey, you know, can I move you to this day? Does this day work better for you? So like I'm really happy that you came on. I'm very happy that I was finally able to do right by you because I felt bad for the longest time, you
Oh
know?
yeah, no. I noticed that when we talked about how we had to push things out a little bit, you said like I don't like people holding things over my head, and I was just like, chill, bro. I think I was like teasing or whatever. That's an issue with text chat. If we're verbally
Yeah.
speaking, I can like say something that's like kind of dickish, but it's obvious that like I'm the butt of the joke by being like a silly goober or whatever. But then I actually say things like that in chat, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess someone interpreted that as me actually being dickish. Like, damn, okay, that sucks. Yeah,
I don't think it was
yeah,
being dickish. It was more like, come on, man, are you just stringing me along? I'm like, no, I'm really trying here. I'm so sorry,
that's
you
cool.
know.
You
And
were
it's
like,
like that.
you did kind of come off like, ooh, we're finally ready to schedule. How about 3 or 4 months from now? And I'm like, dude, come on, bro. Just tell me when you're ready. When you got an opening, just throw me in. Like I'm available all the time. You know.
Oh, but it's more like when you told me something, it's like, fuck, I already have all these people scheduled and everything, and it's just like, look, I want to try to get something more concrete down because the thing for me is like I got to work with so many people's schedules, you know.
Yeah.
Like I have people that live in Japan that I'm gonna have on, and I have to do like a stream a day early because like 7 o'clock here at night is like 7 o'clock there in the morning. You know what I mean? So it's like, and it's the next day, so I got to coordinate with them, and then I got other streamers that are much bigger and much more successful. So I've like got to appease their schedule, and like I said, some people like they forgot their schedule, so like I'm just happy that it worked out to I got you in much sooner than I did, you know.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I can't wait. Like I said, yeah, definitely. I'll contact you more. Probably not tonight. I'll probably like in a few more weeks, and I'll start hammering out some more July stuff. I want to make it through May because my birthday's in a couple weeks. Memorial Day's coming up. You know, and so many games are coming out. Like on the 21st, Hellblade 2. I'm super excited for that game. And then there's the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake is coming. So that's the 23rd and the 21st, like perfectly right between my birthday, you know? It's like
Something I wanted to mention earlier is like this gen, there hasn't really been a lot that's like appealed to me a lot. Like at the start of this gen, Scarlet Nexus and Tales of Arise, I like those a good bit, but like there hasn't been a lot for me this gen in terms of like games that really click for me. But it doesn't. I don't feel like I'm missing out just because there's so many games. Like right now, I'm super pumped about gaming because I'm like, ooh, look at all these retro games. Ooh, retro. Oh yeah, baby. It's like I really don't feel like I'm missing out too much. It's so cool. Like I love that I've already got Christmas every single day because of all these freaking classics, you know?
oh yeah, indeed. And that's the best part about being a retro collector is that even if the game is like 10, 15 years old, you know, it's like it's new to you.
Yeah. Man,
But
you want to do that best JRPG stream thing? Definitely like hit me up whenever. You don't have to ask me if I'm available like a certain week or whatever, generally because I'm available almost every single day of every single week. I prefer not to stream on Fridays if I can avoid it, but that's about it.
I'll
Yeah.
put you down for a Saturday show then for
Yeah,
sure.
Saturdays are easy. Friday, I work Friday and Saturday. So like if I stream on Fridays, I got work the next morning and then a little bit tough, you know. But if it's like Saturday, I can work a shift, stream, oversleep to recover, and then be fine the next day to stream again, you know. So
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll
Cool.
definitely work that. So thank you again for hopping on, Nick. I will see myself out so you can continue your chat, and I'll just end my show on my own time. Then,
That's
okay?
cool. Yeah, and thanks for having me. Definitely hit me up in the future. You ever feel like it? If you ever need anything, need like an extra guy or whatever, hit me up, bro.
All right. Have a good one, Nick's chat. I'll probably put you on as a background noise because I'll need something to listen to.
Cool. I'm gonna head off to the bathroom probably. But then after that, we gotta figure out maybe like Panzer Dragoon. That's a pretty short game. I might do that
Oh
game.
yeah. There you go. Highly recommend that one. All
Love
right,
that game.
everyone on Nick's stream, have a good night. Love y'all.
Yeah. Later, bro. All right. So I'm gonna end that recording. That is the first YouTube VOD.